worse. Clips getting longer, switches is clearing them faster. And for some reason they end up in the hands of these little bastards. And go from me, gotta pay their funeral and buy their casket. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad, I'm hands-on. My kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad, I'm hands-on. My kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad, I'm hands-on. My kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that. Good dad, bad son, the podcast. Tune in, stay tuned, and make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe while you at it. Cross. Stack game music. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad. Will, what up? When I was a little boy, I put my hood on my back. All eyes on me and nobody cut me no slack. While bowling up and down, that cold money was all I thought. And daddy was selling drugs, so it made me say fuck sports. Him teaching me the game, felt like he was passing the torch. In front of projects, I jumped off the stoop, not a port. My OGs was my idols, not no Meech or Rick Ross. And remember, to be a boss, life was always the cost. I carried Christ on my back, that's why they call me the cross. And whenever shit was rough, I just hustle and stay my course. And every time I pull myself back on my feet, digging my cleats. Every step I take, rip up the streets. A gun in a vest, some money and weed is all I need. When I hit the block, my mama started losing her sleep. To love a nigga like me is really not for the weak. I became a villain after that 100 bullets ate up my Uncle G. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad. I'm hands-on, my kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad, I'm hands-on. My kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad, I'm hands-on. My kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that. All my childhood transgressions did was teach me lessons. I laid down with beautiful women and they gave me blessings. The love I never gave all these niggas and hoes was for my kids, for them I bleed, little X's and O's. As a man, I gotta be more than just checks and clothes, Pampers and milk. Anytime I leave this house, I could get killed. You could be playing a block or going to work. Charleston and Texas showed us it ain't even safe in church. Every day I look at this world and it keep getting worse. Clips getting longer, switches is clearing them faster. And for some reason they end up in the hands of these little bastards. And go from me, gotta pay their funeral and buy their casket. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad, I'm hands-on. My kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad, I'm hands-on. My kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad, I'm hands-on. My kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to another episode of Good Dad, Bad Son with your favorite cousins. Y'all like that new intro? Been jamming to it all day. Been jamming to it all day, man. I appreciate you, Cross. Yes, sir.
We back outside.
Yes, sir. I'm glad I got a minute to holler at you before the rest of the crew jumped on.
What's up?
I was thinking about, you always make reference to it when we was in the park this one day talking about what our next move was, and how I had that thick ass application trying to get the school together, and you was in trucking school or you had just finished.
What year that was?
Like right after your vacation, I think it was like 2016.
Yeah, I was still like in the midst of it. Yeah. I don't even think I might didn't even get in the school yet.
But you had already got the game from White Boy.
Yep.
So that's what I had wanted to talk to you about. When entrepreneurship, you always was going that direction, or you was forced into it? Working for yourself.
For the trucking stuff?
Yeah.
Forced into it.
What happened? Like you was gonna do the 9 to 5 for somebody else.
Yeah. No experience. No
Okay.
experience at first, and no experience. No background. Background first, and then no experience. The ones that didn't mind the background, it was the no experience.
So it was one or the other.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like they was let me see, what was it? Oh, when they do the background, okay, so it was non-violent. So the ones that was like, all right, it's non-violent charges, boom. Yeah, but then experience I was under a year.
Okay.
Under a year experience.
Okay. When you was growing up, were you surrounded by entrepreneurs, or it was mainly 9 to 5 workers?
Shit, block.
So neither, huh?
I mean, no, I'm saying the entrepreneurs on the corner.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? The entrepreneurs on the corner, yeah. It's not too many. The foreigners come over in New York. The foreigners come over there. The West Indians, as far as black,
Yeah.
the West Indians, they come over and they're entrepreneurs.
Okay.
They're opening shops or restaurants and stuff. The foreigners have skills. Most black Americans don't have skills, especially Northerners.
Yeah.
It's the Southerners that have the skills. It's the country niggas. The country niggas know how to do stuff, not the Northern niggas. When we escaped from the plantation and ran up north, we got weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember knowing that entrepreneurship was an option. They were, in school,
Me
they
neither.
always preached to you, job.
Me neither.
Get good grades, get a good job.
Right.
They sold us on some nonsense, didn't they?
Yeah, me neither, bro. For real. Now that you bring it up, nah, I never thought about nothing.
That's crazy.
Not nothing, but especially legally,
Right.
you don't even see it.
I didn't know one entrepreneur
You don't
in
even
my,
see it.
Immediate circle.
But I'm telling you, I think it's a northern thing. I'm not saying all, never saying all, but you see it more in the South.
It's harder in New York too.
It is.
Everything's so expensive.
The Jews keep their feet on their necks in New York. That's Jew York. That is Jew York, bro.
My man, he a nurse in New York, and he had hit me up about opening a school up there. So he trying to go
Good
do
luck.
all the paper. Man, they sending him back and forth.
He better go to Jersey or upstate New York, Mount Vernon, get out the city.
That's crazy. I'm saying he in Buffalo, but
Oh, he in Buffalo.
the state want to run every school. There's not a lot of entrepreneurial schools up there. You got to be.
And being that y'all closer to Albany, they really gonna be watching y'all.
Yeah. So he ain't been getting.
Because Albany control all of that.
That is nuts. What was your first hustle, your first business move, even if it wasn't
Selling waters on Atlantic Avenue.
You was one of the original water boys?
Man, we had to start that shit, bro. It wasn't no water boys in when that was, 99.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? 2000, 99. Yeah. No, it had to be 99.
You had a click clacker?
Yeah. Yeah. And to the point where shit, niggas was selling waters for me. I ain't bullshit. I swear.
Your mom said you used to be a genius, bro.
And not only that, O was stealing them.
So it was 100% profit.
Oh, because I remember we was at Pathwalk, right on Fulton there. We loaded up the shopping cart.
Where you got in trouble for bagging groceries all night one day?
No, that was when I was 9 years old.
Okay.
This is later. This is 17, 18.
Okay.
And we was in Pathwalk. We got a shopping cart full of waters, man. Might have been 2 shopping carts. But I know he was pushing. And I stopped to pay. And he looked at me and he just kept walking.
Like, what you doing?
Yeah, he just kept going. He just kept going. I said, all right. I walked out. Those joints was free.
Nice. That's a hell of a head start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what we started doing. Just taking them. It's not paying for them. But yeah, it was selling waters.
Okay.
Yeah, it was selling waters. But I always like we was talking about before when it snowed. That's why I always loved the snow.
Yeah.
I made so much money shoveling them cars out the. I mean, I'm talking about 9, 10.
Getting to it.
Yeah.
Which was hitting them for like $10.
Whatever they give me.
Whatever.
But see, that's when I was in Sheepshed a lot. Like, I was younger than that. But I had to be like 8, 9, bro.
So that's like a rich neighborhood?
The outside of the projects in Sheepshed Bay is Russians and white people. You know what I'm saying? Basically, white people, Russians, some Jews, Italians. And, bro, they was giving me $50, $40. Nice. They was socking it to my pocket. You hear me? Loving me.
Dr. J. Kelly said, one thing about BJ, he's going to make sure everyone around eating. He probably had a water empire back in the day.
Yeah. It didn't last long, though. The police started kicking us off Atlantic Avenue.
Hey.
Yeah, it didn't last long.
They rather y'all sell drugs.
Mm-hmm. They came over there asking for business licenses and all that. Man, shut up, man. Yep. Shoveling that snow and packing them bags.
He said we used to make great money shoveling snow in New York in the 90s.
Word up. And packing bags.
Man.
Packing bags, I had to be like 8, 9. I'll leave up out of there with like $20-something, bro. $30. You know, that was a lot. I was rich.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I
Couple
remember
days a week too?
I remember, bro. I'm coming back to the projects, going to the corner store. Yo, what y'all want?
Okay.
I was like that, 8, 9 years old. Straight up. Buying 50-cent sodas for about 3, 4 of us. 50-cent soda, chips, cookies, and shit. For
you the man.
Me and my niggas. I always was like that. Always.
That's nuts. So with the trucking, we talk about it all the time and be up and down, but more up than good because you about damn near 10 years into it. Mm-hmm. Did it ever come a time where you almost gave up and said, "No, this ain't it"? Nah.
Oh, I'm lying. Yup. In the very beginning, it was so many. I had so many breakdowns, and then because they just was throwing loans at me, so I'm taking them. You know what I mean? But every time I get a loan, that joint break down, man, and it'd be like $6,000, $7,000 to fix. Then you know why you broke down, you losing money. Then you got insurance, truck note, all that stuff, right behind each other. So I know I broke down. I can't. Matter of fact, my turbo went out in Richmond, Virginia. It's me and Najee.
Yeah.
And
Cuz did start with you. I remember that.
Yeah, he came a little after.
Okay.
He came like 6 months after I started. So my turbo went out in Richmond, Virginia. We can't go over like 20 miles an hour.
Y'all in limp mode.
We can't with no turbo. You know, that turbo's what pushed that truck. And I was empty. I didn't even have a load, but because it's pulling the trailer, it still don't have enough power to do anything. So it's like a car pulling the trailer. Mm-hmm. So we can't go over 20 miles an hour, bro. I drove that joint all the way back from Richmond, Virginia to Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Doing 20.
20 miles an hour. It took me like 22 hours.
I'm about to say, what's that, like a 7-hour ride usually?
Yeah, it took 22 hours. Jeez. Yep. And Najee just kept laughing. Bro, you want to switch? He kept trying to get in the seat, so I go front.
You so mad. You are like...
It's straight anxiety, bro. Straight, man, we ain't got the money to pay for it for one.
Right.
Especially out of town.
Out of bounds.
And I don't want to be stuck out of town.
Right, in Virginia.
So I'm just telling him, like, yo, bro, we gonna ride till this joint just break out. Right. I mean, just break down on the highway.
Literally till the wheels fall off.
Yes. And we had got into it with these white dudes, man, in South Carolina, because it started smoking real bad because the oil was leaking out the turbo pipe. So I pulled over in South Carolina. I asked them to do one thing because it went in regen. So we pull over in a pallet to regen, and I asked them if they could force regen it. They're like, yeah, the girl told us, yeah. So I left it. We went in the truck, started to get something to eat, to chill for a minute, whatever. I'm like, damn, they taking too long. It was like 2 hours later.
Yeah.
I go back. I see they got parts taken off the truck and everything.
Whoa, who told y'all to do that?
Go back in the office. She like, oh, we can't force a regen if your turbo not working. Why you ain't just say that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, all right, yo, what we doing? Oh, they started telling me all the stuff I needed, 14,000. They won't have the parts till Monday, this, that,
Man,
and
put
third.
my shit back.
I went through, we mobbed through the shop, through the truck stop, and we went through the back.
Yeah.
All right, watch out. Nah, went out there, so me and Najee, we in the back looking at the parts and stuff. So I'm like, yo, who took this off? So there's 3 of them. They come back there, and the one that's doing it, he like Mexican or something.
Mm-hmm.
He like, yeah, man. We couldn't do that. We couldn't force regen it because of this and that. And I'm like, all right, but just put my stuff back. 'Cause I ain't actually doing none of this.
None of that.
He started talking to DOT, and you can't drive the truck like that. We can't just let you drive the truck like that.
You're not about to
because
stop
of
me.
DOT and da-da-da, and I ain't putting the parts back because that's a violation, da-da-da. So I just started cursing that nigga out, man. We started just wilding on him, and I think the girl, somebody called the police. They calling the police now.
Yeah.
But I noticed he had it was them two, but it was a big white boy. This nigga was like 6'5". I'm like, Najee already got the bat in his hand, though.
Of course.
Najee already got the bat in his hand. So I'm like, yeah, he gonna be the problem.
Yeah.
Tattoos everywhere. He eating the apple and shit, but he
Ready
ain't saying
for it.
nothing the whole time.
Ready
He
for it.
just standing there looking at him and looking at me, just eating the apple or whatever. But I'm still just cursing them niggas out. And I could tell he chain gang. I could tell by the tattoos he chain gang. I could tell he been to prison and shit. So I know he's a prison nigga.
Yeah.
So then dude just like, I ain't doing this, da 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 da. Then he said, you can't. He telling me like, yo, you can't drive it anyway. This, that, and the third. Man, I'm still put it back, bro. I don't give a damn about none of that shit. I'm driving it and you putting it back because I ain't tell you to take it off.
Right.
Whatever. So then he getting all red and shit. So he finally turned around. He like, man, what the fuck? To the big white boy.
Like, you ain't gonna say nothing?
He just was like, man, what? I guess he was like confused on what he should do or whatever. And dude was like, man, I mean, he ain't asked you to take it off. Just put it back on, man. Let him go. That ain't none of our business.
That's his business. Yeah.
Yeah. He like, man, that ain't nothing, but that don't got nothing to do with us. He like, he can't drive with it. That ain't got nothing to do with us.
You want to get your ass whooped over it?
You should never took your stuff off. Straight up.
Y'all hustling at this point.
White boy was solid.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, put it back on, man. And then he just turned around and went back in the office and shit. And the dude put it back on. We got up out of there.
Before the police came.
I got pulled over. No, not pulled over. I got up out of there, but if he didn't put it together the way it was supposed to be put together for this situation, so I had to pull over again because now it's smoking crazy. I pulled over at the next exit. I just wanted to get away from them.
Yeah.
So we pull over, but in that part of South Carolina, you could see everything on the side from the highway.
Yeah.
You see everything on the street, whatever. I'm talking about that's like right before Georgia. We about 4 hours from
Almost
the crib.
home.
We almost home. And so I got to wrap it with duct tape, bunch of Gorilla Glue tape.
Okay.
Bunch of Gorilla Glue tape. So I'm doing that, me and Not. We both doing it. That's why he didn't tape it and shit. Of course he not gonna tape it.
No, ain't gonna do nothing for you.
DOT, South Carolina. I said, oh, he got us. And they got us, bro. Damn. I said, don't look, but DOT right there. I'm still. Boom, boom, boom. DOT, that's the feds, basically.
Right.
DOT see this, they can lock us up for real. They don't play about you duct taping this shit together. You're bugging. Ain't gonna drive down the highway.
No, you're not.
Shit, come off. I said, oh, he coming, Najee. Najee still ain't looking. He like, just hurry up, bro. Hurry up, bro. I said, all right, good. Because we tried to tape it and close the hood before he get it. Man, it's so hot, though. The turbo pipe, hot as hell. So, we going through all that. He pull up. Man, it's an old school plantation black guy, man. I'm talking about he had to be 88, barely walking. Little, too. He about 110 pounds. You know what I mean? So me and Najee under the hood.
Like y'all don't see him.
Like we don't see him. We still ain't look at him. He done pulled up right here, the car right here. He hop out. He walking, taking his time walking, right? So Najee stepped back. Like, how you doing, officer? He just shook his head. That nigga face, his head right here next to mine. We both under the hood. He said, you think that's gonna hold it? I said,
We hope so.
I said, yeah, nah, we gonna be good. He said, how far are you going? I forgot. I gave him a city in South Carolina. I ain't telling him Georgia.
Yeah.
I gave him the next city
Like
in South Carolina.
Like we close.
Yeah. I told him that. He said, y'all just came from the truck stop? I said, yeah. He said, okay. You sure you gonna make it? I said, yeah, we gonna make it. All right, be safe. Walked off, got in his truck, took off. I said, ooh, God sent him.
Won't he do it?
God sent him. Najee, let's go.
We out.
Let's go, man. Old school saved us, man. Spared us. Old black man, man. That's why I be trying to tell Kurt, we gotta get the badge to help our people, bro.
Right.
And he was before the 1960s.
Yeah.
He was thorough. He was thorough, man. Old school black nigga. I'm telling you, I never forget his face, man. He was thorough. He ain't have a care in the world. He wasn't messing with us, though. Ain't no way in the world tape was supposed to be on the turbo and all that shit, taping the turbo up on the engine and all that. He was like, man, you sure you gonna make it? I'm like, yeah, we gonna make it. He's like, all right, be safe. Took off.
Man.
That's the only, also when I got back, my bad, I got lost in that story. But when I got back, we popped probably like $800 to our name, bro. And
together.
Word. And shit broke down. My mechanic, it was like $5,000 to fix, a little bit under $5,000. And then I call her cousin Monica, family.
Yeah.
She called my mom's probably the next day or something and said, yo, how you doing? I had a dream about him. See if he need any help. Out the blue. Out the blue, son. My mom's a verified.
Yeah.
Call my mom. My mom's called me. I think she had to call my mom's twice because my mom forgot. But then she called me. She like, yo, Monica want to know how everything going with you. If she could help in any way. You know, she got a couple of dollars for you. And I said, what? Because me and Najee already making plans to jump back in the streets. This shit is over.
Right.
We already making plans.
We
like,
tried
yeah,
it.
all right, yeah, it's over with, bro. We ain't got it. Call such and such so we could get, you know what I mean, on the arm. You know what I mean? Mom dudes called me, man, the next day. Monica want to know, what you need. I said, what? Then I said, yeah, whatever she could spare. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And she like, all right, well, let her call her back and see what's up. Mom's calling me back. She like, she said, will 5,000 help? What? The bill is 4 and some change. How'd she come up with that number?
Out of the blue.
Told me she had a dream. Yeah, from a dream. Came up with that number. I said, yeah, that's
Mom Dukes right
Tell
here.
her that's perfect. See, I don't be making this shit out. I don't know if people be thinking I'll be making these stories up, man.
Nah, you ain't fat. You ain't hitting us with the fat joke.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing the fat joke. I can't make this up, man. You know what I mean? Monica is the reason why I'm still rolling to this day, man.
That's
straight up.
Dope. That joke can't ride on time.
Auntie cousin Monica.
Okay. That's
and we paying. She sent it, and you know how people be talking too. Oh, tell them I got this, and it's 3 days later they still ain't do the.
Now they ain't answering the phone.
Immediately.
That's what's up.
Wire transfer.
That's a hell of a dream. She felt it.
Angel.
Wow.
Angel.
So how has you think entrepreneurship changed you as a man? Like talk about like the BJ before trucking and now. Like what's the biggest difference?
It's just legal.
Okay.
I've always been an entrepreneur. It's just legal now.
Okay.
I've always been an entrepreneur. Because before the trucking, before I went back to the chain game, we was out here winning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Strong.
What up, Van?
Shit. We was $1 million operation, bro. It is what it is.
I remember.
Monthly. You know? Niggas in the chat. Niggas was there.
Yeah.
That shit started with $4,000. Word up. So I always had that spirit, but
Head said facts. What up, Head?
we don't have the knowledge.
Yeah.
If I'd have had the knowledge when I had the bread, I would have bought 10 trucks. You know what I mean? And been straight.
Especially back then.
Because I was trying to get out the way.
I remember.
Yeah, I was trying to get out the way. I remember when I looked up all types of friends, I'm like, nah, I got to get a franchise. Because one thing about it, people talk all this stuff like, yo, why you don't never quit and go legit and all that? Because 9 times out of 10, the person that's getting the money, any real money, they don't have time to quit and start from the ground up on something that might make some money that's not even gonna make the amount of money that they're making now.
Impossible.
So if I'm making $10,000 a week, clockwork, no problem. I can't stop what I'm doing to try to do something legally that I probably won't even make $10,000 a month in.
Ain't no way.
You know what I'm saying?
Cause you got 10,000. Cause you got them same amount
work
of bills.
like that.
Yeah,
For real, it don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you need the team. You need the people that's gonna concentrate on that, and you could keep doing this.
right.
And that's the only thing I was missing, cause I sure was like, you know what I mean? You know, I was trying. I even hollered at my mom, but I had to wait for her. She had to retire. You know what I'm saying? She ain't had the time neither.
Were you about to get a cell phone store or something?
Nah, I think I did think about a cell phone store too, but it was I know the first franchise I really looked at was the Wingstop.
Okay.
Wingstop was $75. At the time I looked at it.
Yeah.
When Rick Ross started rapping about Wingstop, I looked at it again. I'm talking about months later, it went to $500,000.
Just like that.
As soon as he started rapping about Wingstop. Because Unc didn't even know what a Wingstop was.
Right.
And I was like, yo, we could put it in New York, whatever. Even Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
I was talking about Chick-fil-A before New York had a Chick-fil-A. Before New York had the first Chick-fil-A, I was talking about Chick-fil-A. This 2012.
Davon said you tried to buy everything.
2011, 2012. Where I was trying to find a way. Because I knew I was going to jail. I just wanted something to have something. So when I come home, you know what I mean? I know I was going to jail.
And your fear came to life, right?
Yeah, it's not even, you just know.
I'm talking about not having nothing to come home
Yeah.
to.
Because at this point, if you out there doing what you're doing, you breaking the law.
Yeah.
And you don't, in your mind, you don't, add in that you're gonna go to jail eventually. This is gonna come to an end. You're a fool. You're delusional.
Yeah.
You're delusional.
You had a hell of a run though.
Straight up. Yeah, we had a good run, 2.5, 3 years maybe.
Okay. What up, Banks? Banks in the chat.
What up, Banks? A lot of close calls.
So they like that intro.
Yeah, cross, man.
You said a lot of close calls?
Yeah, a lot of close calls with everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I done been pulled over with
a life sentence.
Yeah, we done been pulled over time and time again. Like I said, them people, the feds was following us.
Mm-hmm.
The feds locked Shaniqua up one time. That's when I knew it was getting real, when they snatched
She was
up.
one of the ones going into the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay.
We all was.
Okay.
But she was being followed that day. And I had pulled up on her. So she called me. She's like, yo, there's 2 white men in a pickup truck following me. Every time I stop, they right there. I'm like, all right, don't do nothing else. Meet us over here on the racetrack. I believe Davon was with me that day too.
Mm-hmm.
But we always did. So we pull up. So when she pulled in the racetrack, we was already there though, waiting. So by the time she pulled in on Pleasant Hill, she pulled in. I seen the pickup truck pulling behind her.
Yeah.
And she pulled up next to me, and we all got out, and they kept going. They looked and kept going. Drove out the racetrack. She's like, you see them, right? I was like, yeah, that's them. That's them boys. I said, go home.
Yeah.
But she made one more stop. She didn't go straight home.
Hardhead.
She made one more stop, and they snatched her up.
Shaniqua, what you on? Like you?
Shaniqua was grinding, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, Shaniqua was in grind mode.
She like, they ain't gonna stop my coins.
Shaniqua
I ain't doing nothing wrong for one.
Yeah, they locked her up and held her for like 8 hours. Took her kids, all that, cause she had her kids with her. Took her 2 daughters, her babies. They was like 7 and 5.
Damn.
Took her babies, took like $40,000 from her.
She had it in the car.
Yeah, and then I knew something was wrong because I was calling her to make sure she had got home and shit. Mm-hmm. Calling her. She not answering. Then it started going straight to voicemail. Now it's like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, nah, this ain't like Shaniqua. Then her mother called me looking for her. Like, yo, you heard from her? I'm like, nah, I ain't heard from her. I'm looking for her too. Then she finally called me like 10 o'clock, 10:30, crying and stuff. Like, yo, what happened? She like, yo, they locked me up. I've been here since like 1 o'clock. I don't know where my kids at. I'm like, what?
Yeah, they definitely don't play fair.
She like, yeah, I don't know where my kids at. They not telling me. Where you at? She like, I'm still up here. Don't go nowhere. I'm on the way. We about to make a scene, bro.
Yeah.
Now I'm ready to go to jail.
Yeah, because they playing.
So I'm on the way. Donnie might have been with me. Somebody was with me. So we on the way up there. And her mother called me back. Like, where you at, BJ? I'm like, shit, I'm on the way to the jail. You know what I mean? She like,
don't do that.
You know, she said, no, I'm on the way up there.
Okay.
I'm on the way up there. I'm like, yeah, because ain't no way in the world they about to tell her They don't know where her kids at. You crazy? We about to tear this shit up.
Facts.
I'm already in tear up mode. As soon as I come in, I'm throwing chairs and everything. I'm already in the mode, bro.
Everybody
we going to jail.
Yeah, everybody.
She like, no, I'm going to find my grandkids. Don't worry. You wait. I'm on the way up there now. You just wait for me to call you back. Okay. I said, all right, I'm gonna be at the quit trip. We'll be at the quit trip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? About 45 minutes later, grandma called me back. I got my babies. I said, yeah, I bet you did. She wasn't playing.
Grandma ain't playing.
Yeah, she said she went in there cursing everybody out. Y'all got me fucked. You know,
because for one, they supposed to call her next to
They wasn't even supposed to have them kids.
Exactly.
Man, they brought them kids out there in 5 minutes, man. They ain't got no shoes on, nose running, you know what I mean? Pissy. You know what I mean? Yo, they violated, bro. They violated. I was hot. I ain't violated. No charges.
Of course not.
No charges. I was talking to Noah about that, man. They do that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Detain you and hold you and no charges. Just let you go.
Cause I don't know the exact law, but can't they hold you for 24 hours or 48 hours?
They can't hold you for nothing. They gotta let you go. They ain't charge you with nothing. They not even supposed to take you to the precinct. They ain't charging you.
What about the people that be on like they hold for public intoxication? That's the charge?
They charge them with something.
Okay.
Indecent or something. They charge them with something. You know
Gotcha.
what I mean? Yeah, they charged them with something.
That's wicked, man.
But yeah, they was you know, they just was they was pressing her to tell them something. Came with my mug shot and stuff, you know.
Cause they're not believing the cigarettes. They're like, this is obviously much deeper. Yeah.
And they had to let her go because she ain't know nothing. She ain't talking about nothing. Like, nah, that's my brother, but nah, I don't know what he doing.
First of all, ain't nothing to say once I'm in handcuffs. We could talk all
what
day.
What you doing with it? She like, man, I ain't doing nothing. I'm just saving them.
Yeah.
I'm buying them and I'm saving them.
Yeah.
That's it. Smoking them.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So they had to let her go. But yeah.
Gotcha. Kurt done hopped in.
What up though, Kurt?
Let me let him in.
Yeah. It's the deal. There
Man, you keep me backstage again like that. I'm gonna come down there to Atlanta and see about you, Will.
Watch this, Kurt.
Kurt came in with the beef.
All right. How you doing today, sir?
What's up with he keep me backstage just looking like, all right, well, when do I get to man? Because BJ just get his whole narrative.
Dr. J said Newport said us living like some Black Sopranos.
Man, they wouldn't believe what we was doing, bro. They wouldn't believe it if we told them. They wouldn't believe it. We changed the economy in Gwinnett County. I know that. I was told that. We built a lot of stores out here. I was told that from district managers.
Y'all see Kurt playing around. I don't bother nobody. He just had to bring it out of me. Want me to act my color today? He said Kurt came in hot.
I used to pick Kurt up. Kurt, I need another hand.
Okay. Kurt was in the
I've
game
been
too.
backstage since 8:00.
Man, cut it out.
What's going on though with y'all? What's happening?
You know what it is, baby. World War III, baby.
Hey, you know they get ready to get on your body.
World War III, baby. I ain't got nothing to do with it.
I told you it was gonna be World War II.
I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Oh, but you love you from Donald Trump. He can have to send some of y'all sons to the war.
I don't agree with nothing he doing. I don't agree with nothing he doing.
Yeah, we
That motherfucker's getting ready to send a lot
King
of
said we got some difficult days ahead.
Hey,
Yeah.
they getting ready to send a lot of young black men to war that's gonna die.
You think it's more black men in the army or white men?
Oh, it's more white.
In the military.
White.
It's more white.
Oh, okay.
But those are those patriots. They ran up in the Capitol. Send some of them. Send some.
They not in the military.
But
Maybe
they say the recruitment
World War III.
They not in the military.
the recruitment skyrocketed since Trump been in office, right? The Army got more recruits than ever.
Probably. Look, man. Listen, man. Kurt, you was in the military. Your family, you got a whole family of military niggas. Y'all been getting sent to war. Y'all went to Vietnam War. Don't act like Trump is goddamn just sending y'all to war like y'all never been to war before. You went to Vietnam War for nothing. You killed the Vietnamese over there. Muhammad Ali, the only one that bucked on that. Y'all should have bucked on that then. Muhammad Ali did. He had more to lose than y'all. Ali bucked.
I didn't tell y'all the story about my military time, though, did I? I wasn't with that shit. I wasn't with that shit.
But it don't matter if you with it or not. When it's time to go, when you get deployed, your ass get deployed with the people that's with it too.
And listen,
That's a fact, Cross.
I was
They
down
need to
there
bring the draft back and send all them young niggas that like to play with guns.
saying that we were shipping to America. What you talking about? and that's a known fact. What was happening during the military during that time? They were shipping cocaine to America and shipping M1 machine guns down to Central America through the Panama Canal Zone.
Yeah, but
over there to
we ain't talking about that though. We talking about the black men, because you said something about a whole lot of black men. We talking about the black men.
There's a lot of black men that are going to go voluntarily, but they're going to also draft a lot of young black men, anything 18 and older. They're going to draft into a war that's going to send them boys to war and die for a cause that ain't even theirs.
Listen, when you sign up for the military, that's what you sign up for. That's what you sign up for. Mm-hmm. When it's time to go to war, you go to war. You have a leader. Whoever sit in that seat is your leader. When it's wartime, baby. No matter who it is. Y'all went to war. Y'all went to war when Obama was in there. Y'all killed multiple African and Muslim leaders then. Obama got the most kills. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Obama got the most kills.
Quit blaming Obama for that. That war was going on before Obama got there.
No, I'm not blaming him for nothing. I don't care. Whoever sit in that seat, you liable to go to war. It don't matter. What I'm saying is, Obama has the most kills. While we sitting here talking about Trump,
you need to fact check that. That's not the truth. Now look that up on your Twitter. That's not the truth.
I ain't gonna fact check it, man. Somebody could tell me if I'm wrong or not. But I know he killed Gaddafi, Lumumba, and Saddam Hussein, and Bin Laden. That's 4 right there. That's 4.
You talking about individuals.
That's 4 right there, individuals.
But that you say the most kills. That means overall. Netanyahu done killed 100,000 motherfuckers. What you mean?
Okay. I can't count up the people that die. I don't know. I'm talking about leaders.
When you make a blanketed statement like he had the most kills,
I'm talking about leaders. You right. Okay, I'm talking about he killed the most leaders.
Okay.
Cause Trump ain't killed nobody yet. Okay.
Can you say that at the time?
Trump ain't killed nobody yet. I just want to stick with the facts, and I don't agree with what Trump doing. I don't agree with it. I'm not with it. I'm not agreeing with going with Israel. We're rocking with Israel. I'm not rocking with Israel, bro.
I know that's right. With Israel. I'm not rocking with Israel, and the simple fact he's going against Muslims. For what?
I'm waiting for Noah to come in now. I know Noah wants a piece of this action. But yeah, I ain't rocking with that. What y'all think? What they saying? What the comments looking like?
Hey, I thought that Obama.
Right.
Trump ran on the presidency that he was going to end all war.
Kills for the lead.
Fact check.
Leadership, yeah.
Fact check that.
What you think about that, though, Cross? So they need to bring the draft back and bring all them gun-toting young fellas over there.
I would like that. I would like before we send our troops in, snatch up all these niggas in prison. You know what I mean? Snatch them up, drop them off like y'all did the deportees and all these niggas that with the census killings or killed babies and all like the niggas that shot up homeboy car that was in the McDonald's driveway and killed his daughter. Get them. Start with them. And round up the rest of these niggas and drop them off with bow and arrows.
I agree with that person.
Give them some military. Let them cause something. Let them Let them call
Them
some
wars,
kind
they
of
like to play with
They say wars are
guns
fought differently
and
now. No
shoot
drop them
random.
off, drop them out the plane, and drop the crates of guns out the plane with them and let them have fun.
Have at it. Huh?
Yeah. You got about a good 30,000 you could send over there like that. That's what they should be doing. Trump just
That's
said
a,
he about to start shipping prisoners
that's a
or
whole,
out, to that other jail in El Salvador or something. Nah,
that's
drop
a
them off
whole,
overseas
that's a whole brigade,
in Iran or
30,000
something.
men.
The
Drop
problem
'em-
is they might turn Muslim. They might
Right.
convert. That's the problem. That's why they won't do it. They mess around and convert to Islam.
They'd be like, Assalamu alaikum, my brother. You
Word
know,
up. They mess around and convert.
they had probably already converted once they went to prison. You know
The
how they
man
do.
said.
They'll change that.
Vicious V. Wars are fought differently now. No boots on the ground. There's nuclear weapons.
That's true. That's true. Not even that. Technology. Technology.
No, they be using
China
those
and Russia and them will
beams.
hack the system and turn our lights out. We'll be in darkness.
Facts.
Or,
You know,
or mess
what
with
they
people's
use-
bank accounts and stuff.
What they do is they use drones. They use the drones. Those are non-piloted aircraft that
Yeah,
can
and
drop
drop bombs from the drone. For
That's
sure.
like playing on the video game. That's like that game y'all was talking about that look like real life. They got that in real life.
So Trump
They got-
confirmed bombing of all 3 nuclear plants.
Them folks said they rebuilding. They ain't tripping.
But you also said they have no credible way of verifying whether he was successful or not, because nobody have intelligent boots on the ground in Iran. So they're going to, over time, they'll tell whether they were successful. Did they drop the bombs? Yeah. Did they destroy the nuclear plants? They don't know, because they don't have any intelligence in Iran. And Iran ain't gonna say it. Iran will probably say, "Yeah, they got us."
They
But
got
really,
they got intelligence in Iran, bro.
they-
They got intelligence everywhere. They got
I'm,
intelligence in Iran.
I'm just listening to the narrative over the different networks that were like the
Yeah.
intelligence agency people are saying, "Yeah, it was successful as far as we know," but because once they broke that treaty with Iran, where they had American intelligence on the ground to check those plants to make sure they wasn't producing no more uranium.
They had a bunch of Jason Bournes over there since Obama sent them all that money when everything was cool. They had their Jason Bournes over there since 2006, man, 2008, 2010.
But
Niggas live over there.
but Donald Trump pulled out of that agreement. That's when all of those people were kicked out of Iran. They have no intelligence on the ground. They have certain operatives.
You wouldn't know, Kurt. You wouldn't know. I know America. I know the history of America, and I know how America operates. They have Jason Bournes over there. America has people everywhere, bro. They got people over there that done blended in with society, just like they have people over here. They got people over there that been over there for 15, 20 years, dog. They got kids and everything over there. Got a whole family over there with a long beard, speaking Arabic or Persian or whatever they need to speak, reporting back. They got Jason Bournes. The movies don't come out for no reason.
Right.
They have Jason Bournes everywhere. They have them in Russia. They have them in China. They have them everywhere, bro.
Art imitates life, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They have Jason Bournes everywhere, for sure.
But they say they do, and they do. They got operatives all over the world. But to be able to have a credible operative that close into Iranian intelligence, some of the evidence is not credible. Just like when they went to war against Iraq, and they said they had weapons of mass destruction. They never found those weapons because it was not there. So the intelligence they got was a little bit off. But that's how the intelligence works. It's a hit and miss. Sometimes that's why it took so long for them to catch the dude in Afghanistan. Remember, both Bushes went after him.
Who you talking about?
Who? Bin Laden.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? They had intelligence all around them. but they never had credible witness as to exactly where he was at until Obama got in office and they found him, and that's when they dropped, the Navy SEALs down on his compound and killed him.
Bro.
Van just made a comment about that. He said, for the record, people gave Bush the credit for killing bin Laden. Even Obama called Bush.
Bro, if for you to be a military man and you sitting here feeling like they didn't know where bin Laden was at, or they couldn't find him until Obama got in there, you do know when the Twin Towers got hit, they allowed bin Laden to go back home, him and his whole family, right?
Right, he was.
You mean to tell me you think, okay, so
if he was at the White House,
if if it was only 2 planes in the sky, president plane, bin Laden family plane, and you think they really didn't know where he was at? They knew where he was at the whole time. They knew he ain't have nothing to do with it.
Remember this. It wasn't bin Laden that was at the White House. It was his family members.
I didn't say at the White. He was at the White House.
Bin Laden was hidden up in those mountains in Afghanistan.
You know where he was the whole time, man. Him and Bush had a relationship from their daddies.
Had business dealings.
They've been doing business. They know where he's at, bro. They not going too many places. They going right there, back to Afghanistan, back to them caves.
Wait, to be actual about it, if anybody knew about intelligence, that war in the Middle East around Iran and Iraq started long before the Bush administration. It started back in the 70s when the Shah of Iran left Iran back, I think it was 77, 79, somewhere in the 70s. He took billions, trillions of dollars from the Iranian government and came to America. The Shah of Iran. The Shah of Iran.
Oh.
That's when they had the prince, the Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Right? And Iran requested that America send that money back to them. They didn't. They took the embassy hostage in Tehran, in Tehran or something like that. And it was 300 submarines that they had at the embassy. Jesse Jackson and all of those went over there and finally got the hostages released. At that time, Iran and Iraq was at war. That's when America was shipping them guns to Iraq. This was in the 70s. Look up the Shah of Iran, or I forgot what that was all about. It was the Shah of Iran, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. It had to be around 77, maybe 78.
Oh, okay.
And America gave Iraq, Saddam Hussein, all of those M1 rifles that we were shipping over there through the Panama Canal Zone. And that's when, what was it called when they court-martialed Oliver P. North and Bush became vice president to Ronald Reagan. But it was always conflict between the two. The only way to get into the Middle East is to create a scenario where they could say it's a war on terror, and they blew up the World Trade Center. So that gave them entry. But none of those Arab countries would allow America to fly through their sovereign airspace. They went in through Afghanistan. And the first thing they did was capture oil fields, and then they went from Afghanistan to Iraq. And they got Saddam Hussein out of office because he wasn't getting ready to play puppet on the screen, even though America had helped him fight that war, that 7-year war with Iran.
I just sent you that clip. Yeah, they all be buddies until America ready to just kill them. They was buddies with all of them. They was buddies with bin Laden, Saddam, Gaddafi, all that. They was buddies with them. Nah, Gaddafi, I don't think Gaddafi really didn't mess with them.
Ayatollah in Iran is saying he don't trust anything. He may make a peace agreement with America, but Israel and America will sign a treaty with them where they put their guns down and then they'll drop bombs on their head. That Muslim ain't no dumb Muslim. That's a whole religious leader. That man has lived his life according to the Quran for his lifespan.
Who you talking about?
The religious leader over there in Iran. He ain't getting ready to make no peace agreement with America. and Israel.
Well, all right, that's fine. He gonna die.
It ain't all like that. See, and unless you know about real politics, and I ain't talking about conspiracy theories. You know, Iran has some type of working relationship with China, and they also help Russia with arms to invade Ukraine. Those are the two countries that are allies with Iran. Because strategically, if you take Iran out of the picture in the Middle East, then America controls all of that. You know, Russia and China ain't getting ready to allow that to happen. They're going to get that man some weapons. And he's going to keep on fighting, and they're going to fight to the death. And then all of a sudden, the UN nations are going to join in, and it's going to be a world war. That's how World War One started. And these are just facts. You know what I'm saying?
So what you think? What you think gonna happen? What you think the next move is?
I don't know. See, because they think that Iran is going to respond immediately. I don't know if he's going to respond immediately, but trust me, he's going to hit back. If it ain't no more than the closest country to him is Iraq. America got assets in Iraq right now. They got about 40,000 troops on the ground. Hit them with some ballistic missiles. They don't have the Iron Dome around them. He gonna hit back at America because they done shot bombs over on a sovereign nation. They don't have the right, and even some Republicans they pushing for impeachment of Trump because in order to move all those assets under the Constitution, he has to brief the Congress, and they have to vote whether he can send this country into war. He just can't arbitrarily do that.
Y'all keep waiting on it. Y'all keep waiting on his impeachment.
Somebody said he about to cut the oil package. Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz. He can cut off 30% of the world's oil, will cause the economy all the way around to crush. That's how Russia has been getting around the sanctions because they've been getting that oil from Iran.
You got it, Will.
So, it's going to be a war. Believe that. It's going to be that war that Trump said that I'm going to end all wars. He lied to you. He lied to his supporters. Because that's what he ran on. As soon as he got in, he started bullying people and he's going to start a war. And it's going to, I think it's about reducing the world's population. You kill off a couple of million people, oh yeah, the world population, end up pretty good.
Can't find it. Man, listen, bro. Whatever they want, they're gonna take, man. Plain and simple. They'll take it.
Well, you know for a fact how it goes. Every bully has his day.
Nah, Johnny. Obama killed all of them. Obama killed Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi.
No, he didn't.
Hold on, let me see.
Bush was in office when they got Saddam Hussein.
You might be right. Yeah, you're right, Johnny. That was that was 2006. My bad. Bush was before Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bush got Saddam.
The Bushes
that was their man.
The Bushes had 3 terms in office. The father had 2, and the son had 1. And then Obama had 2. Well, Obama had 2 terms. Yeah, he had 2 terms. Well, the Bushes, that first Bush was reelected. He had 2 terms in office. That was during Desert Storm.
When Obama hit them drone strikes in 2011, it was American citizens that was killed too in 2011 in Yemen.
I didn't
even know about that. Y'all don't talk about that.
In every war from World War, the Revolution always friendly fire where motherfuckers die. Soldiers
At least he apologized. Obama apologized for the drone killings of 2 Western victims.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always casualties in war.
Oh,
You know
4.
what I'm saying? Fire. You know what I'm saying?
We drone 4 Americans, 3 by accident.
See, they don't talk about the Vietnam War when they dropped all that Agent Orange on their own people and fucked up a lot of Americans.
Yo, but Obama was able to do everything under y'all watch, man. Y'all all eyes in on Trump.
Oh, he wasn't? Obama wasn't able to do nothing because he had a messed up Congress. They wouldn't allow him to do a lot of things.
You ready for it?
As long as I'm president of the United States, Iran will not get a nuclear weapon. I made that clear when I came into office. We then organized the strongest coalition and the strongest sanctions against Iran in history, and it is crippling their economy. Their currency has dropped 80%. Their oil production has plunged to the lowest level since they were fighting a war with Iraq 20 years ago. So their economy is in a shambles. And the reason we did this is because a nuclear Iran is a threat to our national security, and it's a threat to Israel's national security. We cannot afford to have a nuclear arms race in the most volatile region of the world. Iran's a state sponsor of terrorism, and for them to be able to provide nuclear technology to non-state actors, that's unacceptable. And they have said that they want to see Israel wiped off the map. So the work that we've done with respect to sanctions now offers Iran a choice. They can take the diplomatic route and end their nuclear program, or they will have to face a united world and a United States president, me, who said we're not going to take any options off the table.
Exactly. But he went, they went the diplomatic way and they signed a peace treaty, an agreement that, you know, they had inspectors going to the nuclear plants and he never produced over like the 40% that it takes, the 60% it takes to create a nuclear bomb.
What'd you say?
When Obama was in the office, that statement he just made, they went the diplomatic way, and what they did is they signed an agreement with Iran because Iran couldn't stand the sanctions that they were getting put up under. They signed that agreement with them, and they wasn't producing the plutonium at weapons grade. That same agreement that Iran signed with Obama, soon as Trump got in office this time or last time, he backed out of that deal, which means
what was the deal?
Huh?
What was the deal? What deal you talking about?
That America had put sanctions on Iran, and it was crippling their economy.
No. What's the deal you're talking about? What is the deal? What deal? Money, guns? What deal? You talking land?
BJ, why do you ask a question and then you don't listen to the answer? I just told you the answer.
What is it? One more time, right now. What's the answer?
Okay, the deal was that America would lift the sanctions out of Iran if they do produce plutonium at weapons grade where they can produce a bomb. They can only produce the uranium to the grade where they could use it like for whatever, like submarines or whatever. They couldn't make it where it has to be at a 60% grade in order to produce a bomb that you could put on one of those missiles. They made an agreement with Obama. It was a signed agreement. Immediately when Trump got in office to try to eliminate Obama's legacy, he pulled out of that agreement with Iran. So now they no longer have an agreement and they start producing at a higher rate.
Okay, so all right.
So that's the deal that was in place already, and it was bipartisan. Republicans and Democrats had agreed. You know, we're gonna put sanctions on Iran and we're gonna cripple their economy. Iran said, "Okay, we're gonna do this diplomatically, and we'll agree to have your inspectors to come to our nuclear plant to see how much we're producing." Right. And that had been in place for some years until Trump got in office and he backed out of the deal. Oh, now I'm gonna do more.
But All right, but that been happened. That ain't just happened.
Right. And so since then they've been producing weapon grade plutonium or whatever it is but they still haven't got to the point where they could make a nuclear bomb. But they don't have inspectors there to be able to verify it or not. Because Donald Trump pulled out of the nuclear agreement with Iran. He pulled out so he have a reason to go and bomb them people. Come on now. Stop it.
All right, if that's your opinion, if that's what you think, then I mean, because if he pulled out in 2018 and they just bombed him in 2025, I don't see what it matters.
This is why. Because it takes years to produce enough plutonium to make a nuclear bomb.
It takes money to do it too. It take a lot of money to do it too.
They got money. Matter of fact, America owes Iran $100 trillion?
Right. So if we giving Iran money and stuff, then I mean all of that play a part. But I don't care. If you want to blame it on Trump, I don't care.
I'm just saying. I'm just putting the facts out there that Trump pulled out an agreement with them people. Now he's saying the only agreement that Iran could do is to totally surrender. That man ain't gonna totally surrender his country to no damn American.
He ain't got no choice.
Yeah, he do got a choice. That's a sovereign nation.
What they gonna do?
Listen, we was in war with Iraq and Iraq and Afghanistan for 10 years, and we still hadn't conquered it. Because you just can't go into that country and conquer it, even with the UN back, because we was backed by the UN during the Gulf War. And guess what? A lot of people got killed. And at the end of the day, we still had to get out of that region. And even if they do take that leader out of place, that whole region is going to become unstable, because all they're going to do is get another Muslim.
Yeah, that's what they do though. They kill the leaders, and then they put their leader that they appoint the next leader. They did it with Saddam and them too. They did it with Libya.
Okay, but they didn't do it with Ayatollah Khomeini. When he got out of office and the revolution Iranian army took over, all it does is replace it with another leader, and maybe even more radical. Because there's a lot of Iranians don't like Americans. So if they erect another leader, trust me, he's going to be an Islamic leader, because Iran is an Islamic state. I don't care who you put in office, you're gonna make the whole region unstable.
That's the plan, especially messing with Israel. That's what they want. But so all right. So what you think the next move for Iran is, and we're gonna move on to the next topic.
That's the whole thing about it. A lot of people don't know. I'd be lying if I told you I knew, because I don't know how those.
If you was the leader of Iran, what your next move would be?
Sit and wait my time and pick your ass off. You over here on my motherfucking property. You on my property. You on my land. This is my country. Shit. And trust me, they got a lot of proxies all over the Middle East. It ain't just Iran.
Oh, all right.
Because, if he was that weak, after they dropped them 12,000-pound bombs on them, you didn't see him fold up and say, oh, we beat. No, they start shooting back. Okay, you bombed this nuclear plant, but we still got ballistic missiles that we could pick off all of those little proxies they got in the different Middle East countries. They still bombing over there. Trust me, that's not a Hamas. Hamas is just a militia group. Iran has a whole
man, whatever, man. I don't want to hear all that. You said you will sit and wait and do all that. I don't want to hear all that. Them niggas, they done, bro. It is what it is. They can't do nothing. It's a hot side, bro. They talking. They doing too much talking. I know that. And I hear all the Americans talking about, oh, they got sleeper cells. They got people over here, man. We on high alert. All types of people calling my phone. Oh, we got high alert and
sound like one of them
man,
people.
come on.
You sound like one of them people.
Hold on, Kurt. Hold on. Kurt. They can't hear both of us at the same time.
Hey, but you always talking.
I just sat here and let this man talk for 20 minutes.
All I'm saying, you talking about, well, first of all, you talking about something you don't have a lot. You just going according to what Trump said. Oh, we totally devastated them.
Let's get to the point so I can move on to the next topic, yo. I asked you what you would do as the leader. You said you would sit and wait. That's what you do.
I would sit and pick my time.
Okay.
He still got his weapons, and I hope people don't sit back and think sort of kind of like you do, and then all of a sudden when they blow up the World Trade Center, oh, it's a terrorist attack. No, what it is, they're retaliating. See, retaliation is if you shoot my boy BJ, trust me, I may not come get you right now. I'm gonna get your ass. That's how the coalitions go. When you got motherfuckers that's riding with you, ride or die, you got to understand, a lot of the Muslims will put a bomb on themselves just to get your ass. This war,
that'll go into the next topic, man. What's your biggest conspiracy theory? What's your biggest conspiracy theory, Will? Come on, jump in, Will. All right, my fault. What's your biggest conspiracy theory, Kurt? Because just to answer when they hit the World Trade Center, I was actually outside when that happened. I actually watched it outside. I didn't care nothing about none of that. You know what I mean? I said the Muslims ain't had nothing to do with that. I've been said that.
They always say the narrative.
What's your biggest conspiracy theory? One of your biggest conspiracy theories?
I don't know. It's been a lot of them over my lifetime. One of the biggest.
Give you time. Your biggest one.
One of the biggest ones that I can remember is when they blew up that whole township in Philadelphia and killed all those black people. Under this.
I gotta go to the chat too.
Conspiracy. I think the name of it was Move, and they killed all those black people. And I think it was just this year they released the bones of all those black people's children and shit that they killed, But they gave us the conspiracy theory that, they were terrorists and they were this and they were that. No, they weren't. It was a conspiracy just to get them people off of their land. Them people wasn't bothering nobody. They wasn't violently, fucking with nobody, not until the police came into their neighborhood and were trying to take over. And them boys said, we got guns too. You're not coming up in here like that. So they dropped the bomb.
So the movement in Philadelphia. Let me know in the chat too, y'all. What y'all one of y'all biggest conspiracy theorists? I see Raymond Smith said uranium. We got a fact check Kurt. He's telling us something the left taught him. Van, it's way too hard to penetrate Iran. The mountains are too deep. That's one of the reasons why the U.S. tried to go through Afghanistan and it didn't work.
Right.
Dr. J said, Kurt be ranting. I was outside too, BJ. That was crazy. Laugh out loud, Van. Yeah, I was outside when them Twin Towers got hit and went on the roof and watched it. And we was outside. It was a blackout after that for a couple of days. We ain't had no TV. We ain't had nothing. We wasn't in panic mode. We didn't even know what was going on.
Well, actually,
the sad part about it was a guy. This is in the newspaper too. This guy came through with an army fatigue suit on. We did get the word that we was under attack or something like that. They flew planes. They were saying helicopters at first, but anyway, this guy came through. He looked like a Muslim. He had an army fatigue suit on and a book bag. And he walked through the block and he came back and then he looked lost, but he had that book bag on and that army fatigue suit on, and he ended up getting killed right on the corner of my block, on the side of my building.
I agree with you.
It was and come to find out he was from he wasn't even Muslim. Well, he might have been Muslim, but he was from Poland, and he was lost because the train stopped working. So he was supposed to be across town in Brooklyn somewhere, and the train he was on stopped running in my neighborhood, and he was lost and ended up getting killed.
Well, one of the things here is that we were under attack, and that they ran airplanes into the World Trade Center. But you know, from being in New York, that the World Trade Center was built to withstand an airplane crash. The buildings were imploded. If you look at any implosion of any building, it blows up from the centerpieces or the beams that hold it up. To hold it up 100 floors, they blew out the middle of it, and it crumbled. That airplane crashed, and then it was. I'm almost sure it wasn't no terrorist that wrecked those planes. Operative.
So one of my biggest conspiracy theories was the Twin Towers.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I believe the Jews orchestrated that whole thing, because from my recollection, I'm trying to remember exactly, but I think the actual buildings was owned by a Jew, right or wrong, Dawo, and it was something about the insurance money. Well, I'm gonna just keep it simple. They said like over 3,000 Jews worked in the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers at the time. Not one of them was at work. Not one of them. You knew that,
not
Will?
One of the major CEOs of this country was there.
Over 3,000 Jews worked in the Twin Towers. Not one of them was at work.
Well, not only that, BJ, you know, down at the bottom of the World Trade Center, they had that vault with those gold bullions that they never found. Remember, you know, the World Trade Center was a major financial hub, and it was trillions of dollars worth of gold bullions in the basement of the World Trade Center. They say it was smashed to the point where it disintegrated. But anybody that know gold, if you heat it up, it melts and turns to liquid. When it cools off, it turns back to gold. It's solid. But they never found that gold. Or they claim they never found it. Come on, stop it. They put that in a whole different trust to do some other shit. Yeah, it was a whole.
All you gotta do is tell me, man. It's 3,000 Jews that worked in them buildings, and not one of them showed up to work that day.
I ain't coming either.
And then I was listening to Rabbi Finkelstein, an interview he did, and he said that they had the phone call. They already knew it was gonna happen days before it happened.
They knew it was gonna happen. Haven't you seen that thing with the $20 bill? If you fold a $20 bill a certain way, like a paper airplane, and you look at the emblem on it, it shows the World Trade Center on fire. If you fold it the other way, it shows a picture of the Pentagon getting hit from the side. That's when them big face 20s came out. You know, and
that
it's a whole bunch of conspiracy, but that ain't gonna come out, until probably when we dead, and then they'll release the intelligence on it.
The Jews got their hand in everything. The Jews got their hand in killing John F. Kennedy. The Jews got their hand in the Twin Towers. The Jews got their hand in this. The Jews have their hand in everything.
They had their hand in everything.
Hitler warned y'all.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
People know that on the morning of 9/11, a lady looked out of her apartment in New Jersey, looking over to the burning tower, the first one, and saw 5 Middle Eastern looking men filming it, high-fiving and cheering. She took them to be Arabic. She called the police. The police eventually tracked them down. They had traveling around in a white van. They were Israelis. They became known as the Dancing Israelis. They were arrested and kept in custody for 71 days until the ultra-Zionist head of the criminal division of the Justice Department, Michael Chertoff, released them. And how many people know that the same Michael Chertoff released the 200 arrested in the spy ring? And they went back to Israel. These 5 dancing Israelis, 2 of which were known by the police to be Mossad agents, said that they were there to document the event. Well, hold on. How did you know it was going to happen?
Why it went down like that, bro?
That's the end of it.
For real?
How many people know that on the morning of 9/11, a lady looked 5 dancing Israelis, 2 of which were known by the police to be Mossad agents, said that they were there to document the event? Well, hold on. How did you know it was going to happen?
Yeah, that's weird. But
I mean,
So I could take a
that's his
balloon and tie it
matter.
to look
It's
like
a whole
poodle.
bunch
It
of
was a cotton
different
candy
methods.
machine to look like
You know,
Hillary.
they from that point on, they start
I
rounding
can
up.
take a balloon. What do you say, Will?
When
No, I
he was
can't see that
referring to Kurt talking about folding a $20 bill, he said, I could take a balloon and tie it to look like a poodle or use a cotton candy machine to look like Hello Kitty.
Hey, yeah. There's not a news article. This is like the alien show on History Channel. Right, but Kurt is on fire right now.
They're on fire right
That's
now.
coming from Dawu.
First time ever.
Calvin, my biggest conspiracy is, does America really have an area in the Arctic? That's where all the new discoveries are.
What up, Cal?
What up, Cal? Kurt, nothing can survive jet fuel.
What about the farmers burning their own crops right now?
It will burn, truly. It will burn, but the way those buildings fell, look at any implosion, and those buildings were imploded. They weren't burnt to the ground. If it had burned to the ground, it would have burned every floor before it collapsed.
Well,
You know, but implosion blows out those center beams that hold a building up to keep it up like, 100 stories. It was imploded. Look at how it fell. Look at how the building fell. It imploded. And look at any other implosion of buildings. When they blow up buildings or bridges, it implodes. It implodes from the middle out. That's in demolition. You know what I'm saying? I worked close with a demolition division when I was down in Central America. When they want to blow up a bridge or a building, all they do is put that C4 on them center beams, and at a certain time, it's going to blow up. It'll explode. Once you knock the center beams out of it, no building can withstand it. It's going to fall. So, was it a conspiracy? Hell yeah.
The good documentary is called 911 Fahrenheit, something like that. They did a good documentary on that joint. That was good. What you got, Will?
I was trying to get that Mel know
Hey,
the moderators in the
another
chat so I
big
can
conspiracy,
keep up with you and Kurt.
another big conspiracy is about the Kennedy assassination. The dude that they say killed Kennedy, doing his training in the military, he had went to Russia and all that, but he couldn't hit the side of a barn with a rifle. But yet he could shoot the president at 900 yards or how far ever he was, all the way up in the building, and hit him dead center. Nah, I don't believe that.
Well, I saw where it's supposedly the dude that was driving the car shot him.
Yeah, well, not only that, remember when he was getting ready to go to trial, that dude Ruby killed him just so that he don't tell that I didn't do it. It had to be somebody else.
Yeah, but he didn't know who was really in control of that. He didn't know. He already him being there with the rifle. Him being there with the rifle is good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Jack Ruby. So why did Jack Ruby assassinate him? Jack Ruby walked up to him in the courtroom around all them CIA agent, and he walked right up to him and shot him dead.
Yeah, because so people could
But they
think he
didn't
the
want
one.
him to talk.
So people could think he the one that killed JFK.
Right, they didn't want him to talk.
There's a dude named what's the author of that book y'all called to Behold a Pale White Horse? What's that dude name?
I ain't never heard of it.
Hold on, y'all. I'm coming with it.
What's the score on that game? Anybody got the score yet?
William Cooper. William Cooper had a clearance, top clearance. He had the unedited version of the video of JFK getting his head blown off, and he was showing it until they killed him. But that's a good Behold a Pale White Horse. Explains. He talks about a lot. They threw him out the window, broke his legs first, as a warning. But then someone came to his house and shot him in his head. But he was showing the unedited version of JFK killing. He's the one that said the CIA killed Kennedy, which everyone knows. Trump know that too. And the Jews, because Kennedy was about to cancel the AIPAC shit that the Jews got going on. Kennedy was about to get all the influence that the Jews had over the CIA, over the government. Kennedy was getting rid of, and Kennedy was getting rid of the CIA. So they killed him.
His brother Jack Kennedy was getting ready to run for president. He was attorney general or something, and they killed him too.
So this is what y'all do when y'all look at the video. When y'all get a chance, look at the video again. If you're in the car and you're getting shot at, let's just think about this. You're in the car, you're getting shot at by a sniper. Somebody shooting from out a window somewhere at your car. Will, what's the first thing you gonna do?
Getting low.
What's the first thing you gonna do, Kurt?
You get low, but it is from
what's the first thing you gonna do, Kurt?
Well, you may not even know. A sniper can hit you from 800 yards, and once that bullet fire off, pow, it didn't hit you.
Let me make it different then.
Talk about what?
Hold on, Kurt. 'Cause I just want you to answer the question. If you getting shot at in the car, drop top car they was in, and it feel like it's from the window or whatever, what will be your first reaction?
Well, of course, I'm gonna be ducking.
Thank you.
That's the same thing.
So when hold on, Kurt. When the dude showed the video, and of course he had the unedited version, and he slowed it down and everything. If you look at John F. Kennedy's wife, her first reaction, she looked at the driver, and then she jumped out the back of the car. She didn't get low. Look at that video again, y'all. She jumped out the back. She jumped out the car. Your car is a safe haven. She jumped out the car.
She was trying to get away.
The two agents coming from William Cooper, the agent that's driving is the one that gave Kennedy that headshot through his coat. And the other agent was holding the steering wheel. But in live action, people don't know. And his security detail was told to fall back. So when y'all look at the video, look at all them things. You're going to see his security detail. You're going to see his main guy, which also spoke on this, his right-hand man. He was told, the security detail was told to fall back. You're going to see him confused like this, messing with his earpiece and looking around like, what?
What you mean?
Yeah, and then they stop jogging next to the car. They slow down. And then that's when he get hit with the first shot. That's supposed to be the rifle. But it was multiple shooters. It was like 3 shooters. But the guys in the car hit him in the head too. And then when he got that headshot, when you look at his wife is gonna look right at the driver and jump out the back of the car. She gonna get up and get out that car.
Like she's seen him.
She never spoke about it, and she hasn't said not one word. She know what's going on, and Trump knows what's going on too.
There's a conspiracy theory that they had vowed to kill any Kennedy that runs for office. Because remember, right after that, his brother ran for president, Jack Kennedy, and they killed him during the campaign.
I'm pretty sure his family was saying that the CIA is who killed him and the government, because all his brothers were speaking out against that. His brothers were saying they killed him, but yeah, they was killing him because they was doing this. They was saying the same thing he was saying. They was on the same type of time.
Yeah, all of those documents have been sealed ever since. They supposedly released.
But Trump know what time it is. That's why he falling in line with them Jews. Them Jews got a stronghold on America, man. Them Jews got a stronghold on America, brother.
Under his first presidency, he said he was going to release it, right?
He said he was going to release that and the Epstein files. He ain't do neither one. He can't. He know he better not.
And the Martin Luther King files. All of those were.
I don't care about the Martin Luther King files. They blew his brains out.
Somebody said
all of them has the same people. It's the CIA. The same people. It's the same people. The CIA got all them killed.
L said he got a different view of the footage from what you've seen. He said she didn't jump out. She grabbed his head. Please review the footage.
Mm-hmm.
But you.
Go ahead. Keep going, y'all.
I don't remember watching. It's been 20 years ago or so, but I'll pull it up and double check too.
I'm gonna try to find a clip if I can see the clip.
What do that says? It's so small.
I'm new here for literally 4 minutes. What is the problem with the Jews? His wife didn't jump either. She grabbed his head trying to hold his brains in his head. Please review the footage.
Keep going.
Dr. J. Kelly, the Jews got a stronghold on damn near every major industry. BJ not lying.
I agree with BJ, I guess, for one on this. Yeah.
Well, somebody want to know what's the what?
What's the problem with the Jews?
What they mean? Who said that?
El Chingon.
I don't know. What you mean? What's the problem with the Jews?
I guess he's saying since they've been tuned in, it sounds like we got an issue with Jewish people.
Hey, put up the telephone number for them to call in and
well. It's I don't see it being a problem with Jews when you stating the facts. Just stating the facts, right?
It's a reason why Hitler was trying to exterminate him. I mean,
Dr. J. Kelly said you don't agree with him, Kurt?
Say that about what? I don't agree with him about what?
I guess his last comment: the Jews got a stronghold on damn near every major industry.
I believe that. I'm saying for them to call in the people that said what's wrong with.
Yeah, where the number at?
It was up there. Hold on. There it
See if we could keep it on the pass it on the screen right quick. Go ahead, Kurt. This your time to talk. When I'm trying to do something, this your time to ramble on, baby.
What question? I mean, I agree with you on.
I just sent you a clip, Will. Play that clip for me. Please.
Got you.
Okay, so what was those comments? My bad, y'all. I'm trying to the people is asking for stuff, so I'm trying to get to the stuff, I'm trying to get to it, y'all. It's funny to joke, but the hate is different. What you mean by that, El Chingon? It's funny to joke, but the hate is different.
I guess he's talking about the Jewish hate.
What farm is at Green Face? It's 21. Boom. The Jews got a stronghold on them. Boom, boom. I'm new here for literally 4 minutes. What's the problem with the Jews? His wife didn't jump either. She grabbed his head trying to hold his brains in his head. Please review the footage. The footage is coming, El Chingo. I just sent it to Will. I had to look for it. My bad. It's funny to joke, but the hate is different. I don't know what the hate is. I don't really care. Tell you the truth, we could talk about it though.
On the Jews.
I'm hating on the Jews. Yeah, I don't like Israel. I don't like what Israel is doing. It ain't no secret. I feel like they just dropping bombs on children. women and children. Hold on, here go the video too, El Chingo. El Ching.
If you could slow it down right before the shot.
Hold on, Kurt. Let them get this. Y'all play close attention. Put it on the wide screen for them. Mm-hmm. And y'all go get that book, man, To Be Held a Pale White Horse. And William Cooper, all his interviews and footage been erased off YouTube. So I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all not going to be able to see it. I seen it years ago.
This version tracks the limousine and maintains President Kennedy and Governor Connally at center frame. This version is only in slow motion.
It's better when they play it in slow motion, too. And also, William Cooper played the unedited version. Slowed it down, rewind it, slowed it down, rewind it. So he might have been hit already right here.
Yeah, she holding.
And you right, El Chingo. Oh, that's the headshot. You seen that. You right. But now here she go.
Now she jumps out.
She's getting up out that car. You see that? Mm-hmm. She trying to get up out of there. She don't want to leave her husband, but she trying to get up out of there.
So she held him first, then hopped out.
She trying to get up out of there.
Well, she seen his brains come flying out. She realized he dead. She got to go. It's time to go.
Yeah, she tried to get up out of there.
Now, like I said, that's a conspiracy that, over the years.
Yeah, I missed the part when she was climbing on the back of the trunk or whatever. She was trying to get up out that car.
No, they seen it?
No, I'm talking about before.
Oh, okay.
He told me to review the footage.
But I can't say, the conspiracy, I can't say who was behind it, whether it's CIA, whether it was Jewish or whoever it was. I just know that they wasn't going to allow the Kennedys, none of them, to become president. None of them. None of them kids was going to grow up. That's why when the one Kennedy that was in Congress, he never ran for president. His family told him, don't run for president. They vowed to kill the whole family. And whoever that is, I haven't seen any intelligence on it.
Well, it's been something they dropped when they about a month ago when they were supposed to drop the Epstein files. They dropped the JFK file. That's probably something else everybody kind of missed or whatever didn't hear about. So the reason why I was talking about the Jews because it's in the files of the JFK files that he was dismantling the I think it was AIPAC. Yeah, the Jews was coming with the AIPAC where Israel is the only country that's allowed to fund the politics of America, for one. It's called AIPAC. So JFK didn't like that. JFK was dismantling that. He also was dismantling the CIA. It was a lot of things he was dismantling that went directly against the Zionist Jews at the time in the 60s, whenever he was in presidency, and they was beefing. And they told him to leave it alone. His close advisors told him to leave it alone. Next show, I'm gonna bring more information on that. Because I see people didn't even see that. But they dropped it last month. So if you look, matter of fact, when y'all get time, just go to YouTube and type in the JFK files that Trump and them did release. They released some of the stuff.
But a lot of that file that they released, it was redacted. It was blacked out that you don't see all.
El Chinga said that was edited. Which part? Her climbing on the car to get out? Was edited? Yeah. That part was edited?
Yeah, well, a lot of that stuff be edited so that it would fit their narrative. No,
I'm talking about, he said that was edited. The part where she was climbing on the trunk to get out the car was edited? What they did? How they do that? They put her body on the trunk? How was they able to edit that? But anyway, David Banner says his mentor taught him not to do business with men that cheat on their wives.
Wait, he said he was on Club Shannon?
No, I don't think he was somewhere. It looked like he was somewhere else. Would you do business with someone that cheated on their wife? Or that if he cheats on his wife, like, your homeboy or something?
Yeah, business is business, man. That's that man's personal business.
What about you, Kurt?
People do all kind of shit we don't know about.
That's a fact.
Well, I don't like doing business with anybody that don't show some type of loyalty. Something. You know, if you're not loyal, you know, if you ain't loyal to your wife, you can't. A damn thing gonna be loyal to what we got going on. You know, well, I may do business with him. Would I trust him? Probably not, because he's shown a character of disloyal.
It's he said that it shows like if the person that sleep next to you every night can't trust you, then how can I? That's what he was getting at. I mean, for me, it depends on how the business going. Oh, you bringing it up? It depends on how the business it goes. And what's the business? What he say?
He said, just in case anybody wants to know how he became a doctor, he got his PhD from Dr. Umar Johnson University of Bullshit. Class of 2017. I can make you a doctor.
Okay.
Go to
why was she holding his head for no reason before? Of course she climbed up when Secret Service ran in. She wouldn't hold his head for no reason and wait for her to let go before he got shot.
Nah, you mixing. Ain't nobody saying you wrong, dog. He got shot in the head like 3 times. She did. I saw that part. She did. Yeah, she did. She held his head or whatever. She was getting out that car. You know what I mean? I listen. Whatever you believe about it, you believe about it, dog. I'm just going off of what the guy William Cooper. I mean, I can't get his footage because they erased everything about him off YouTube. Period. You know what I mean? Like I said, this was I knew this over 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So that joint been gone. But I mean, if you feel like, I don't know, who you feel like shot him in his head then? The snipers? It was just snipers? That's cool.
And then those bogus ass papers that Trump released, it was like 90% redacted. Like you can't even put a full sentence together on them joints.
Right. The files were redacted. They were blacked out.
Yeah. And I did say the first shot came from the sniper, and the other shot, that last shot, when she, before she looked up front and then was climbing out, came from up front.
Okay.
According to William Cooper. I wasn't there. According to William Cooper.
If we
had
talking
top
about
security clearance and was against the government when he retired or whatever, when he left. And they killed him too.
Let me ask a question then about conspiracy. So if that's you think somebody actually tried to assassinate Trump?
Yeah.
Look at anytime there's a presidential election or they on campaign, they block off a 10-mile radius. They would have knew somebody was climbing up on top of that building. And not only that, he said he got shot on his ear, right? Now, if anybody been grazed by a bullet, you're gonna bleed. You ain't gonna duck down and then come up and then all of a sudden it's dried on the side of your face. Come on, stop it. That was a bad Donald Trump production. Nobody tried. They probably got that young boy and probably if you follow the money, his family probably will take care of. Because
so you said it was a publicity stunt to be fake shot?
I believe that it was in order to rile up that base. Oh, they tried to kill me, but God saved me. And now this man is a God-fearing person, the same man that turned the Bible upside down, wouldn't put his hands on the Bible when he got sworn in. Come on, stop it. First of all, that building was 100 feet away from him. CIA was 20-mile radius around that man, around that rally. How some young boy just walked through with a long rifle with a scope on it and climb up on the side of the building, which is right next to the stage, and able to get a shot off? Come on, stop it.
There's multiple videos of people yelling to the police and yelling to everybody that was out there that there's somebody climbing on the roof. And they was, hold on, Kurt, you keep doing that. You just went. I'm answering your question. It was multiple people yelling at the police that there's a dude climbing on the roof, crossing across the roof with a gun and this, that, and the third, whatever. Somebody told them not to engage. Okay? The boy got on the roof and shot them shots off. Then they killed him.
Right.
This is William Cooper. I don't know what this clip is, but this is the only clip I could find, and it said JFK assassination. I just wanted to see what he was saying right quick. There we go.
It was the secret society who assassinated John F. Kennedy. And the
Turn it up.
right there for anybody who wants to see it. William Greer was a Freemason.
It's too low.
Number one, he was the Secret Service agent who shot Kennedy. Number two, in Dealey Plaza, there's an obelisk, a monument commemorating the location, first Masonic temple in the state of Texas. Dealey Plaza is on the 33rd parallel, which is one of the sacred numbers in Freemasonry. He was assassinated in a manner that is a flow of blood, which is called blood atonement, which was practiced by Freemasonry in the early days, and supposedly it is not practiced now. But in reality, it's the method of choice of execution, trial and execution by Freemasons. His execution is the Supreme World Council of Freemasonry and consists of 39 permanent members, which is 3 times 13, which is also the exact number of men who signed the Constitution, 39. You see, our forefathers were also members of this secret group, and this country was founded to bring about the New World Order. And it's all in the Great Seal of the United States, which was, and that, the design of the Great Seal was made law in 1782. It's just absolutely incredible that the American people don't understand that groups of men don't get together and meet in secret and take blood oaths. And we're here to tell you, it wasn't our government. It was the secret society who assassinated John F. Kennedy. And the proof is right there for anybody who wants to see it.
Yeah, we can't really hear him. So I didn't know what he was going to say, y'all. I just saw JFK assassination. I know the first thing he said was he was shot by the Secret Service agent.
You can do business, but you shouldn't trust them. Kurt is right again. Dawu, your newest fan, Kurt.
Hey, I'm getting some support from who is that? Who is that? Who?
Dawu.
All right, Dawu. That's what I'm talking about. At least I got an ally on some issue.
Trump wasn't president. He didn't have Secret Service like a president. I just think that dude had a chance from negligence, and Trump got lucky from lazy cops not doing their job.
Whoa. Yes, he did have Secret Service.
Secret Service. They get lifetime Secret Service.
He definitely had. The Secret Service came after he got hit. They all surrounded him. He definitely had Secret Service. They got Secret Service. He got Secret Service from when he was president.
The first
they
time,
stayed
right.
with him.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, right after the South by, right, he didn't respond. He kind of grabbed his head, and they was like, get down. If you notice the crowd, you just said, if there is a shooting, what's the first thing you do? You start ducking and running. Nobody in the crowd ducking and run or nothing.
People didn't know there was shots. People, that was a loud place. It was a rally. People didn't know those. People didn't really. Trump didn't.
It was somebody in the crowd.
Bro, you gotta stop cutting me off, Kurt. Go ahead.
It was somebody in the crowd that got killed. That dude got killed. So
you the one that's saying it's fake.
That's what I'm saying.
You the one that's saying it's fake.
I'm saying it wasn't meant to kill the president.
Okay. All right. So I don't know who stands on the stage to play with bullets whizzing bottom. Yo, shoot at me, but don't kill me. I don't know who plays those games, man. But they was I could show you a video in Las Vegas right now where the dude, they was beefing online, and dude walked up on him and killed him, and his wife was right there like, yo, I can't and he killed her, and everybody was standing right there looking. You don't know what you're gonna do when you in shock and close up in person like that.
That's a fact.
That's totally different. You don't know what you're gonna do when you're in shock. I see that all the time. You see, those the people that get shot in the head by strays and shit are people that's standing there watching, not running, not ducking.
What I'm saying, you just said, what would you do if somebody is shooting?
I'm asking you, and I asked Will, yes.
Yeah, what would you do if somebody is shooting, or once you recognize somebody, the crowd with this? I promise, if you shoot in the crowd of niggas, they gonna start running. Some people may sit there and watch, But the rest of the people gonna run because they don't know where the shot is coming from. They gonna take cover.
Not if they don't even know it's shots. He didn't even know it was shots at first. He didn't start the duck till he really got hit, till he got pinched. That's when he went down. It didn't even sound like shots. It really didn't even sound like shots. It sounded like balloons was popping or something because it's loud.
Okay, have you ever been grazed by a bullet?
Yes. Hit by one too.
Did it bleed? It didn't dry up immediately.
No, when I got grazed, no. And I got hit by the one that ricocheted off a car. So no, I didn't bleed. It knocked me down, but I didn't bleed. No.
Well, I've never seen blood dry up that fast, especially if
I'm not even gonna speak on that. Like how you saw the blood dry up fast and all that. Okay.
By the time he grew up, wait. Now listen to this though, BJ. The blood on his ear was dry. It was a dried paste almost. Not only that, 2 weeks later, he didn't even have a mark. Even if you do get grazed, you grow a scab, the blood coagulates, and then you grow a scab. He told people, I got special kind of blood, and I heal fast. You ain't gonna heal fast from no grazing, no bullet, and all of a sudden you ain't got no scar. He had that big old tampon on the side of his head for all of 24 hours, and next thing you know, he got a perfect ear.
So I mean, all right. So what's your point? Just tell us what your point is. You think it was fake?
I believe it was staged. Yes.
Okay, so it was staged, but the bullet is real.
I believe it was staged. I don't even know if he actually got hit. He might have been hit, or that might have been some ketchup they put on his ear while they had him covered up. Because he didn't go down and they showed no blood because I guess the CIA agents
ketchup they put on his
all
ear.
I'm saying
I'm moving on to the next topic.
Please and thank you.
No, but listen to me. I say this. When they have those campaigns, when Trump came to office, they shut down all of 70 for 10 miles around. When he got out at the airport, they shut it down. Ain't nobody gonna be able to walk 100 feet of no presidential president. 100 feet is different than up in a building somewhere far away. This was right there. They would have been shut that shit down. They would have been shut it down, BJ. I'm just saying, but all of a sudden now somebody, and they say this is a cuckoo dude, is smart enough to avoid all the secret agents up and down that road to get to that venue, able to climb up on a building that's right next to a stage without nobody stopping them. Stop. Yeah, it was people saying there's somebody up on top of the building.
That's what happened. Slick Rick dropped a new album. You rocking with Slick Rick new album?
I gotta check that out.
Who?
Slick Rick.
Who is that?
Well, Slick Rick dropped a new album, y'all, and he got a film to go with it. That man said, "Who's Slick Rick?" Charleston White says Trump wasn't wrong not to rent to black folks. Charleston White said Trump wasn't wrong not to rent to black. Charleston White says Trump wasn't wrong not to rent to blacks. What y'all think about that?
Who listens to Charleston White?
It wasn't even him, was it? I thought it was his father.
It probably wasn't, but everybody blaming him, so.
It was actually his father that didn't rent to black. But when he passed it on, I don't think Trump rented to, I don't care what kind of money he had. Nobody rented in Trump Tower.
You think it was wrong, Will?
No, I don't rent to blacks either, bro.
Uh-oh. What you think about that, Kurt?
What? What you say, Will?
I don't rent to blacks either. I tried.
You can get blacks on Section 8 and they don't even want to pay that, and most of it is paid.
Our folks. I love my people. We just gotta tighten up, man. Business is business, bro. You'll be bankrupt trying to
please your own people, and especially your own people.
Dr. King gave his whole life for us, man. We
got his brains blown out. Nigga kids was fighting over selling the Bible.
couldn't die broke, man.
I refuse.
Auntie in the chat, she said, I think Charleston White was right. However, he did rent to blacks eventually.
Charleston White is really just an idiot, and he just, he gets money off of being controversial and idiotic.
He don't got nothing he say holds any weight, Kurt. He just a shock job.
I don't like his whole character. You know what I'm saying? He want to act like he's really a gangster, but he could do that in where he's from. He couldn't come to St. Louis talking idiot shit, and then the motherfucker won't split his wig.
But he admitted he was a character.
Man,
though.
you always talking about somebody can't come to St. Louis and do this and do that. St. Louis is full of in the poverty-stricken, under poverty line, bro. Don't nobody want to come to St. Louis, man. You just said Trump can't come to St. Louis. Now you talking about Charleston White to come to St. Louis with no problem, do a comedy show with security and the guns, and that's that.
Yeah, why is he talking? Don't nobody want to come to St. Louis, but you came here.
No, I'm saying what you always keep saying. Somebody can't come to St. Louis, bro. Like, come on. Why he can't come? Why the black man can't come to St. Louis and speak his mind? Why he got to get his head pushed back?
Why can't I just dislike him because of his stupid narrative?
Why he can't come to St. Louis because you dislike him and get his head split? Why he got to get his head split because of something you don't like he said?
Because it ain't that I don't like him, his character. Period.
Yeah, that's the character online. You don't know him not to like his character. That's the character. You don't like his character online.
Right.
Made a great comment. Charleston White go anywhere he want.
That's a fact. I'm sure he been in St. Louis. I'm sure. They say he couldn't come to Chicago, Cali, New York. They banned him from everywhere. The nigga been everywhere. He goes.
Why they ban him? Why they ban him? Because his life was threatened.
He definitely goes.
Because people don't like, I don't like motherfuckers that's toxic like that. I mean, you can have your opinion or whatever. I don't really give a damn. I just don't like his narrative. You know what I'm saying? And that's it.
You gotta do something for the people who could listen though. He was a bow tie, well mannered young gentleman, and he was ignored. Soon as he starts with the character you see now he got a platform. Now people listening.
Controversy.
Y'all ain't banned the KKK from St. Louis. Ban the KKK from St. Louis. Let's start there.
KKK is still here in St. Louis. Just like
I know they are. Y'all won't ban them, but you'll ban Charleston White. Go split them wigs.
Wait,
go split the wigs of the KKK.
You just said that Charleston White go anywhere. He can come anywhere. I just don't like him.
Oh,
and I got a right to not like a person. If I don't like him, I don't like that nigga. So,
that's fine. I ain't saying nothing about you not liking him.
Davon said he hate him too. What did he do to you, cuz? Davon also said it's the only thing we agree on, Kurt. Kurt, you on one today, man. This your episode. This is the first episode of season 2, Kurt. You got it, bro.
Am I getting a couple of wins on this one?
A couple of them, man. Don't you almost messed it up with that Trump and the ketchup. Don't go down that road no more. Stay on point.
I just think it's a conspiracy. That's all. And I got my opinion. I don't think there's too many Secret Service agents that were around him to allow him to get within 10 miles of that man. Period.
Your boy, Dr. J. Kelly, Umar Johnson says Eminem can't be the GOAT in hip hop based on him being white. He can't be the GOAT. Will, you don't like that?
No. That ain't why he can't be the GOAT. He just ain't. It ain't got nothing to do with him being white.
What you think, Kurt? Can a white man be the GOAT in hip hop?
Who said that? Dr. Who?
Do you think a white man can be the GOAT in hip hop? Dr. Umar Johnson said that.
Eminem can't. Based on talent, he can't.
He can?
I said he cannot.
Oh.
And it has nothing to do with what his race is. We talking about being the GOAT or the thing, you got to look at the body of work that they put in. And that means you have to overlook Nas and a whole bunch of other cats that were in the industry that made some real good music of us coming up, or y'all anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Eminem is fire. He's just not the GOAT. Dr. Umar don't even know how to comb his hair.
Y'all crazy.
What you think? You think he could be the? You think? Well, who your GOAT, BJ? Anyway,
who is y'all GOAT? Who y'all GOAT in hip hop? My GOAT, it'll be Jay-Z.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it'll be Jay. It won't be Eminem. Nah.
It was top 10 at least.
Well,
not in my top 10.
Yeah, mine either. He's in nobody's top 10.
On who best capitalized off of it, Jay-Z is at the top of the game. Because he a billionaire. That man that made it. He a made man. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, you got a lot, if you go back even before Jay-Z, you had a lot of artists that brought hip hop into the mainstream that we don't even talk about. Like I can remember when Nas made that Ether album. He blew Jay-Z ass out the water. I don't think Jay-Z has responded to that Ether album yet.
The Ether song?
Huh?
You talking about the Ether song? Yeah, Jay-Z, Nas won the battle, Jay-Z won the war.
Exactly.
No, that's right, Cross said, who rides around like, yo, throw that Eminem shit on, let's ride. Nobody does that.
Nobody?
Like, not once.
Remember this. You said it was from Dr. Umar. Then dude said he went to the University of bullshit.
No, that's a fact, L. He said music is like art. The beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So it's gonna, it's subjective. It's gonna be different for everybody. I
agree with that too.
It's just not Eminem. He might not even be the GOAT of Detroit.
L, who's your GOAT in hip hop, L? Who's your GOAT in hip hop? I sent you a clip. I was trying to find that joint for the longest.
Gotcha.
I was trying to wait on Noah and them. I had some smoke. I had some bullets in the chamber for them for that last. What is a man and what is a woman?
They know.
Word up.
Anybody got the score?
It's funny because Noah been hitting me all day, sending me all types of pictures of her and O in African garbs and all this bullshit all day, asking me what time and all this. And she a no-show. All I kept saying is, yeah, I got something for you. Come on. Come on. I got something for you and Nadia.
Hey, you got to get back to the girl Nadia. Get a ball for me.
The L tell us who his GOAT was? He or she?
I'm waiting for him. Who your GOAT, L? Who your GOAT? DJ Kelly? Dr. J. Kelly?
I think he said Jay-Z as well.
Jay-Z too? Mm-hmm. Kurt, you still don't know who Slick Rick is?
You talking about Slick Rick from back in the days?
The rapper. How many Slick Ricks you know?
I'm about to say, Kurt might not be qualified to answer.
Well, I'm thinking about Rick James. Slick Rick James.
Whoever called I never heard no one call Rick James Slick Rick.
Man,
never.
Yes, boy.
Kurt, I'm about to put you on timeout, bro.
I mean,
you disrespecting Buffalo.
That's not my time, so you may be right, but I've never heard nobody call Rick James Slick Rick.
Bro, I'm from Buffalo, bro. I never heard that in my life.
Where is Rick James from?
Buffalo.
Stop it, Kurt.
How old are you?
Old enough.
Old enough.
That brother ain't nothing but about 45 years old. He's my kid's age.
What that mean?
Yeah, but the point is, we never heard nobody call Rick James Slick Rick. Dawu and them in the chat, man. Any Rick James fans in here, can y'all tell me if y'all was calling him Slick Rick? I never heard nobody call Rick James Slick Rick.
Slick Rick James, huh?
Word that's a fact. There are people somewhere riding to Eminem according to the scale. So let me take that back. What? It's some people riding to a lot of stuff.
All right, you ready for the video, B?
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
Be a slumlord to black people. They gonna tear up your shit. Them and them projects, food stop eating, baby, nigga, they gonna tear up an apartment complex. Between them brothers and them uncles and them homeboys that's playing like they friend but getting that pussy, standing in the front yard, they gonna run the grass down. Won't no grass grow. Where them niggas standing at? Black people come take the life away out of a community when they move in. Give them 5 to 10 years, your community will be run down with a bunch of black people. Trump and them ain't wrong for saying we don't want to rent it. If I had a spot, I wouldn't rent the nigga. So, nah, homie, they are.
Now, that's racist, though.
Well, it's not racist because the black woman brought her and her fatherless kids.
Yeah.
Everywhere we go,
all the white people left.
Down. Wait, because we're going to run it down. So trash out the window, we go pee on the sidewalk. Once the kids start getting to middle school, they start becoming delinquent, breaking windows, busting bottles. Because, man, nah, homie, we gonna run some shit down and just being truthful and honest, homie. Oh, we're not builders. We don't build up communities as a race of people. We don't produce good things coming out of our community. Everything we produce, build, and create is a detriment wherever it goes. We gonna play live music in the middle of the night. We gonna have them scat packs, motor, all in the middle of the early in the morning. People got to go to work. Nah, homie, we're nothing. We're nothing to want to entangle with.
Said we nothing to want to entangle with.
Johnny said, "Good point, Kurt. Kurt, you on one tonight, bro."
What's that? What point was that? Which one? He got a lot of them.
Yeah, Kurt on fire tonight. I think Johnny might be a tad bit behind. L. Ching gone says UGK. He's from the South. Depends on the mood.
The GOAT on UGK.
Mm-hmm. Damn, Johnny, what I do?
I like Bun B. Pimp C was all right. I like Bun B. They all right. The GOATs of
Van
hip-hop.
said Ebbsfield was the most expensive place to live in Brooklyn in the late 60s, early 70s.
Dang.
So I guess Van, I'm guessing you agree with Charleston?
I mean, man, you gotta keep it. If you're gonna keep it real, you know that man ain't lie, man. That man ain't lie, bro. He ain't make that up. Bro.
I do know with the black community, when black communities move in certain areas, they take all the economics out of it. You know, where in a lot in the suburbs out there where the white people were living, they take all the industries and move it out there where they can get to work. Blacks can't get out there. Because they ride them 1967 Chevys, them cars ain't gonna make it. Or some of them areas are not even on a bus line or a transit system line. So that's what created white flight. They ran away from an area. They took all of the economics out and left the service job in the black community. McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut. So you take the economy out of a neighborhood and it starts to deteriorate. Because people ain't got money to fix these houses up. I'm not going to say all black neighborhoods are like that. BJ live in a black neighborhood. You ain't going to see nobody out on the side of the building pissing on the side of somebody's house.
I don't live in a black neighborhood.
He definitely does not.
I don't live in a black neighborhood.
Run out of gas trying to get to BJ house.
There's a lot of brothers on that street. I came down that street when I came to see you, and that's all I seen was brothers hanging, brothers.
I was having a party.
I'm talking about
I was having something at the crib.
I'm talking about other brothers.
It's a few, the guys next door to me, across the street. It's a few black families in there. It's like four.
All black hoods are not ran down. All black hoods don't have them hood niggas because we move away.
All black hoods have hood niggas, man.
Huh?
All black hoods have hood niggas, man. All of them. Now when you say a neighborhood like mine, that's mixed. And there's more white people in my neighborhood than black people. And the black people that live in my neighborhood is middle class or military.
But now we're going away from the narrative that we need to build up our own community.
He's not talking about middle class. Sometimes you got to live by this saying: if it don't apply, let it fly.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If it don't apply, let it fly. It don't apply to you. It don't apply to me. I know who it applies to. I know the black people he talking about. It applies to. I know them. Yeah, I lived there. I lived with them. He's right.
We had to do a welfare check on Dawu. He agrees with Kurt again. I think somebody got his phone or something. The only reason Charleston White came to St. Louis and was able to talk nonsense is because OG Kurt didn't know he was there. Our Kurt is Nas, and Kurt is right again.
I don't know. Nephew might have his phone. I don't know what he talking about.
Oh, you think somebody got my phone and I didn't.
Somebody got Dawu phone.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what he talking about.
Maybe Noah.
No, you right, Johnny. I'm just it's definitely the individual. But traditionally, I guess maybe the blacks I wasn't around or associated with, I went and rent to them. I see how they treat their current house and their last house. So ain't no way I'ma let them in my property.
Yeah. What is the best era of your life, Johnny? What's the best era of your life? What was the best era? What's the best era of your life, Will?
Now.
Now?
Yeah, my baby girl just graduated high school. I'm done with that. So I ain't trying to sound selfish, but I can, for the most part, I can get back to doing me.
Man. What's the best era of your life, man? What's the best era of your life, Kurt? You got a lot of eras to choose from.
I think right now, because I done did shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm retired. I don't really need to know, so I just sit back and just try to come up with something that I can create where I'm still working, but I'm retired. You know what I'm saying? My kids are grown. My grandkids are damn near grown. You know what I'm saying? And I could watch my grandkids grow to be good, good productive citizens. So, I think this is about the best era of my life because all the other times, I was in the street, I was in the military, been in prison, and those were like colleges that I had to go through, the learning process. You know what I'm saying? Prison made me realize this ain't me. Military taught me this ain't me. I'm not getting ready to fight for a cause that doesn't even apply to me. You know what I'm saying? Ain't none of them people came and bombed my house, and they ain't ever showed no hostility toward me. But I'm fighting for what? Because some white man says go fight. Man, stop it. You know?
What about you, B?
The best era.
You had a few hell of a runs.
Yeah, he got a whole list though. Remember his goes back further than that.
That I'm gonna say from 2010 to 2014.
Davon said 2011 to 2016, so y'all must have been together.
Yeah, but one of his best eras was when I was in jail. Look at that.
I'll be damned.
I was in prison 2015, so he was out here partying, having a great time.
Cuz you got to explain yourself.
He said from 2011 to 2016, I was in jail from 2014 October to 2015 October. He was out here having a grand time.
So I couldn't protect, and I left in 2013, so I couldn't protect you. So you went to prison right after I left, right?
2000
But I kept your ass out the way.
2011 to 2014. And then I'm going to say 2001 when I was working at Starbucks. So I had so much fun in Starbucks, boy.
So that first run you talked about, that was your $1 million run.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the Starbucks run, you just living life, no kids, no work, not a care in the world.
I don't know,
Starbucks, bro.
In 2012, you was pumping out a lot of money, man. You was riding around 24 hours a day. It's buying
Let
tickets.
BJ give us his goddamn.
No, cause look, Kurt trying to relive that shit too. Kurt trying to relive that shit too. Yeah, we gonna watch what we say on this airway
Right.
about them years, but
Hey,
yeah,
the
we had a lot of fun 2011 to 2014.
is up on that, bro. That is sad. That BJ is gone.
2001, 2000. Yeah, I was working at Starbucks. That was fun. That was dope.
Okay. You told me about a lot of people there. Some famous people.
A bunch of actors, Wu-Tang niggas, rappers, Jennifer Lopez, L. Cool J, Angie Stone. Angie Stone was dope.
Okay.
Angie Stone was dope in real life, and that's the first thing I said because that other song was out, Black Brother.
Yeah.
That song was out, and that's the only thing that I could think of because I didn't even know that was her at first. Till my homegirl told me, I said, "Oh shit, that is her," and she was standing at the door, and I was like, and she turned around. I was like, "Yo, that's my favorite song, that Black Brother." She's like, "For real? I'm so glad you like it. I'm so glad I did it for you." And she took off.
Nice.
So yeah, that's my joint. But my girl, everybody that know it, man, my Sandra Bullock, man.
That's what I was waiting for.
Sandra Bullock, man. Sandra is dope.
Yeah.
Sandra dope, man. Dope. She's the only white person out on side eye that got black babies. That adopted black babies. Sandra Bullock got adopted black kids, right? Nobody know that?
I don't even know.
I think she adopted black. I think she adopted black kids, but she's the only white person. I don't know the rest of them because I don't really want to. You know what I mean? But you know, I ain't side eyeing her. She
Uncle said, I remember they used to call Slick Rick the Ruler, but I can't remember them calling Rick James Slick Rick.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
I have to look up the research on that.
I never heard of it.
I remember Slick Rick.
Must be a St. Louis thing.
I mean, when he was singing with Tina Marie.
She never called him Slick Rick. She never called him Slick Rick. But she called him a lot of things. It wasn't Slick Rick.
He was doing the P. Diddy with her.
Auntie said you had your babies kind of late, nephew, so you was doing you.
Yeah, first 29. I seen Sandra every Saturday. Every Saturday she'd come in and get a banana and a water.
Okay.
And then go jogging. She jogs. I worked the Starbucks I worked at was right there, like what they call that shit? They might call it Soho now, but it was like lower east side, the village area. Spring and Varick, y'all. Spring Street and Varick.
Van said 2011 to 2013, he was in Afghanistan getting that civilian contractor money.
That oil money. Man was getting that oil money. Yeah, I worked at that Starbucks that was down the street from Twin Towers, actually.
El Chang said, I got charged with 2 felonies when I was 18, did my time on first offenders, and got my record expunged. Now I work at a military base with a good job, and thank God for second chances. That's dope.
Hey, Charleston White said some black boys need to go to prison. Need to go to jail.
He said that?
Yeah.
He say any fucking thing.
Yeah. I understood what he said, though.
You feel him?
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Some niggas, you'll be surprised at how many dudes come home and get their shit straight going to prison, bro. Some niggas gotta crash.
It changed their life dramatically.
Some niggas gotta crash, man. For real.
That's a fact.
Sometimes it be jail or death. You rather jail. You get a second chance.
Yeah. Little reset button.
You get a second chance, man. For sure. If I ain't go that last time, I would have never got the knowledge I needed to be where I'm at now.
You said it made you so sick.
That first time.
Not only that, I would have never met White Boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. My first time going to prison was my last time. I ain't doing it no more. I can't do that. It scared me too.
Thunder up 89 to 68. 8 minutes left in the fourth.
What is it?
68 to 89. Thunder.
Oh, it's a blowout.
8 minutes left in the fourth.
Who winning?
Thunder.
Kicking their ass.
For now, anyway. It'll end up tied up in a couple minutes.
What quarter?
Fourth.
Oh, that shit over.
Okay.
And what's the score?
68 to 89.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Johnny.
Throw them out, run it up, and make them have to catch up in the fourth quarter, play defense. Clamp down.
Damn, I had a perfect video for what we was just talking about. Y'all keep going. I'm trying to find this clip.
Van said Obama messed his money up. He said Obama brought all the troops home and the money stopped in Afghanistan.
Don't say that too loud.
Your mom said she know you heard her voice very clear when you was in there.
I didn't even speak though. What is she talking about?
I know you heard my voice clearly when you was in there.
I didn't even call home.
No.
Yeah, because
You ain't talked to her on Eli's birthday?
And tell you was a bum.
No, I spoke to Eli and Jazz.
Yeah, right.
Cousin Zoe. I spoke to Eli and Jazz, cousin Zoe.
You know, some people that especially on the right track, that second chance is to sit them down and sit them in that chair and make them reset their thought pattern. Because that's what happened with me. 13 calendar years, I didn't get a break, come out, do some parole, then go back. 13 calendar years, all I had time to do was think, study my behavior to change that up.
That's a long time, man.
Because one of the things that the parole board asked me when they finally gave me, they was considering me for parole. They said, "What you gonna be doing in 5 years if we let you go?" So I started cussing because I was still radical. What the fuck you mean? You want me to act like I'm Allah? Or like I'm God? Like I know what's gonna happen 5 years from now? I said, but I know
You ain't want to come home.
Yeah, they should have kept you.
Yeah, you ain't want to go home.
no.
And they probably paroled them.
What I told him is, I'll tell you what I won't be doing. If you let me go, I won't ever be back here. You'll never see my face again. You let me out this page, I'm up. You ain't got to worry about this one clowning out there in the street. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Because I had 13 calendar years. 6 of them were spent in a 24-hour lockdown down in D.C. tonight. I ain't coming back to that. I'm not coming back to that.
I said that, Auntie. I said they should round up all the young boys with them senseless killings and just drop them off in wherever they at war at.
Drop them off.
Exactly, Kurt. You're right again. Shakora said. You ready, Will, with the vid? All right. Listen to this young man right here, man.
When I was 16 years old, I was shot by a rival gang member. My father at the time was in prison. 2 months after I got shot, he came home. 10 days after coming home, my father took me to murder the rival gang member who shot me. I went to prison with both my parents, my mother and father. My mother was arrested on unrelated charges, but related charges to the case, but not charged with murder with us. So I found myself at 16 years old fighting a life sentence with both my parents. Ultimately, I was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole in 2008. And after getting sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, I just came to prison and I decided to make changes in my life. I made changes in my life and I grew up. Really, this was my place where God really matured me and helped me become a man. And my father ultimately made it to this prison in 2019, but unfortunately he OD'd on B-Yard and passed away less than 100 yards away from me. And I went on a journey because I had family who worked in this prison. I ended up going to the hole, leaving this prison, going up to Solano, and ultimately I was commuted. I was commuted though last year by Governor Newsom, and then I went to board in October, was found suitable, and today I'm here.
How long you been out?
I've been out now 35 days today.
So you've been out 35 days and you're already back in volunteering?
Yeah, 35 days, man. And it was an opportunity to come back in and kind of inspire this community and to bring hope. And I know what that's like. I know what it's like to be in here hopeless, but to have people come back in and to show you that this is possible, that it's possible to lead this space. When I was 16 years old, I was shot by a rival gang member.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's what prison do for some men, man.
He a strong dude, because I don't know if
He
I
been-
can walk
he
back
been
up
through a
in
lot.
there. I can't walk back up. I talk to
through
them
a
kids
lot.
virtually, bro. I ain't going up in there.
I mean, they might just lock me in that same cell. How you get out, man? Sir, I would advocate from outside of the prison or create a system that when they come out on parole, then I could mentor them away from that behavior or keep them on the right track. But going back through them doors, the sound of that ring, I can't do that. Oh no, I got PTSD from that.
Hey, do we believe in God anymore? Is there a moral law that we follow?
How do you perceive what do God as? I mean, you know, some people call God Allah. You know, a higher spiritual being. Yes, that's just man in his higher self. That's that positive side of man. You know,
You say God is who? What would you believe God is?
the higher part of man, the one that has moral turpitude. It's something that I read in the Bible. And a pastor, I think it was a pastor down in Georgia, told me this. Have you ever got ready to do something and you hesitate because you hear something say, man, I wouldn't even do that. But you go ahead and do it. And the first thing you say is, something told me not to do that. That's the higher self telling you that's the road to wrongdoing and sin. But if you go ahead and do it, you can follow that lower being, that being of the flesh. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's a higher entity in man, the man that knows how to do right, do the work of God. The work of God is peace to all men and love your fellow neighbor. You know what I'm saying? That lower being.
Do you believe in God?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, how you perceive him, see, some people, you know, if you translate the word God into Arabic, it says Allah. Allah and God are the same.
Yeah, we not. I just want to know if you believe in God. We ain't gonna go into the names and titles. You believe in God. Will, you believe in God?
Absolutely.
Okay. Y'all believe in God in the chat? Do we believe in God? Is there a moral law that we follow? Is there a moral law that we follow anymore as a whole, as a country?
No.
I'm trying to find a clip that I got it from. Go ahead, y'all.
I don't think we do.
It don't seem that way, do it?
No.
That's society though. The negative always outshines the good things. People just out here moving how they move, and it's not a whole lot of. Take God out of it. It's not a lot of morals. Period. People are just selfish, stingy, greedy, and we're just in a bad way right now.
I just sent you a video. When it comes to, I guess, the nation as a whole, believing in God, the moral law of it, the moral law of the nation is not. We're losing the moral law. It's not following God, because then we wouldn't be putting in place the laws and stuff that we putting in place. We wouldn't, you know what I mean? We wouldn't be catering to homosexuality. You know what I'm saying? And everything that's ungodly. We're fighting for everything that's ungodly.
BJ, call your mama house, man. Now your mom agreeing with Kurt. I'm getting concerned, bro.
What she said?
Exactly, Kurt. We either listen to Allah, God, our creator, our higher self, or we listen to Shaitan, the devil, our lower self.
Wherever you go.
Kurt.
She heard Allah.
And just went with it.
He went over with Allah.
If you translate the word Allah into English, it says God. It's the same.
We know that, Kurt. We ain't talking about that.
Something going on in that household, bro.
We ain't talking about that.
They over there celebrating.
Hey, I thought you was a Muslim, King Eli.
Nah.
Were you?
No, I don't follow religion. I'm spiritual, not religious. That's like being a Democrat and a Republican. Same thing.
And that means you follow God. Literally.
Yeah. I don't need a middleman. I don't need Muhammad. I don't need Jesus. I don't need Buddha.
Every description of God that I've heard holds God to be all-powerful and all good. And then I look around and I see a tsunami that killed 250,000 people in Indonesia. If there is a God, the God is either not all-powerful or not all good.
An atheist will come and attack a Christian with this common question. You Christian believe that your God is all love and all powerful. Okay, then how come this God of yours, who is all love and all powerful, allowing for evil to infiltrate and expand so rapidly on a global level? So I'll ask you, my dear friend, when you assume there is evil, aren't you also assuming there is good? How do you know it's night if you've never seen the day? Well, when you are assuming there is also good, aren't you also assuming there is a moral law? So since you're assuming there is a moral law, aren't you also assuming there is a moral lawgiver, which is God, whom you are denying? Since you're denying the existence of God, since there is no moral lawgiver, there is no moral law. Since there is no moral law, there is no good. Since there is no good, there is no evil. Then what's your question?
Good narrative. Great narrative.
Oh, you agree with what he was saying?
I agree that, there is good and evil in everybody. You do some wicked shit or you could do some good to mankind. You know what I'm saying? But to assume that there's good, you have to assume there's, the opposite of good is bad, which is Satan, or however they want to pronounce him. And there's also good, which is God, which is us in our higher being, in our higher moral turpitude or our higher moral standard. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have nothing to do with Democrat, Republican. It didn't have nothing to do with white or black. Love for your man. Even they say, as they teach about religion, they said Jesus didn't just go to the man that was good. He went to the prostitutes, the gays, and all to preach the gospel of moral turpitude, of goodwill to all men, no matter what the man is.
What up, Josh? I see you.
Where's my allies at anyway in this chat room? I'm gonna tell Nadia about us. She just left me out here in the park. I think she was scared of that doctor dude that kept putting his hands on her body.
Well, is the black culture full of evilness? Why do we glorify all the evil stuff?
They have infiltrated that whole cultural, fighting against each other. We've been against each other since slavery. Them house niggas is always against the field niggas.
Well,
No, that ain't. No,
that's what happens when you don't have a moral code, though.
No.
I mean,
the question again. Black culture. Hold, Kurt. Hold on, Kurt, because that's not even. The question is black culture full of evilness? And why do we glorify all the bad, the evil? Why do we glorify that? Meaning the drug dealers, the killers, and stuff like that.
Because that's what we're around.
Okay.
That's what the culture is building. Whether it's through the exposure.
Why is the culture building that?
That's $1 million question. Why a lot of us haven't stood up in the community and fought against it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Of course, now, you, BJ, you, Will, me, we start with the black community from our children. We teach our children, they go out into the world, they're going to teach their children the same principles. I don't know when our culture start going bad like that. They glorify being broke. They glorify being walking around with guns on them. They glorify, women bending over, walking outside with.
That's the last video, bro.
Men, it's evil all around us. Greed, money. They hate you, BJ, because you own the trucking company. They hate the fact that you grind for it. You have to hustle. Why is it? That's $1 million question. Why is it, and how do we start to fix?
Said black people have lost their morals.
They lost their morals. They have fallen off. It's been infiltrated.
When did black people lose their morals? When did we have them and when did we lose them? What you think, Will? What you think about the black culture and why do we glorify evil?
Because it's easy. It's easy to be lazy and do wrong. It takes a stand up person. It takes energy and effort to do right, be right, and always strive for something better and greater than what you currently have now. And then for a few people, the few people like Kurt was saying who we around, they make it look cool, and we talked about before fatherless children. So you don't have a father in the home teaching you to stay on the right path. You're gonna follow the knuckleheads outside, and you keep generation after generation of that. Now you got anybody that stand on principle and is a real man. He a cornball. He a square. He lame. So that's where we at.
What are some of the biggest influences that I guess drive like our culture of evilness?
The media.
Yeah.
Definitely what you consume.
Yeah.
Your diet. Your diet is everything you consume. What you watch, what you read.
Media. Mm-hmm. Music. Movies.
Yeah, that's part of the media.
Rap.
Rap in its current form, yeah.
Listening to the other one? Yeah. The culture. School.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's the only thing they allow us to glorify.
Definitely school, but the school is wasting our time. They don't teach you the things you learn at school is not going to help you in life. Not like K through 12. They teach you how to be a great worker for somebody else. They don't teach you how to have a sustainable life. They took the trades out of school. We talked about that before on here.
Yeah, but we only that Dawu said that's not in all societies. Islam societies are more on point. We talking about black society right now. Mm-hmm. We talking about black culture. We talking about black culture right now. I agree. Muslim societies are doing better than the Western societies, and I think that's more or less based on. A lot of the Muslim societies only have one culture. Mm-hmm. For the most part. They got one culture, it's Islam. So they on the same page. America has 20 different, 50 different cultures over here and religions and people and, you know what I mean? For real. Because you got Muslims over here that's partaking in the bullshit too in America. No, I didn't. You know what I'm saying? So the Muslim societies could be doing good, but the Black American society is stuck with the culture. Mm-hmm. Then you got the Muslims over here in the Black American society that's partaking in the bullshit in the culture also. Especially you go to Philly, Jersey, you know what I mean? New York. So, you know what I mean?
Well, that's me.
I did a 3-year bid in the early 90s from start to finish. I focused on me physically and mentally. That's what jail will do. Prison produce some of the best black men in society, better than the military. You wake up, you eat 3 times a day, you wake up, you get ready for inspection, you make your bed up every morning.
What do they call prison?
You pray, you read.
Prison is called the University of Hard Knocks. You got to learn it the hard way.
Shakura says they are not practicing their Islam righteously. Okay. And the people who claim to be religious but are not living righteously. Yeah. So I guess you got to be religious to live the right way, huh? Religious to have. So black culture is lacking in religion then. Is that what it is?
Johnny said he definitely believes in God.
No, they have an adopted religion that they follow.
What you think, Will?
What is religion the reason we going
They are
around?
not practicing Islam righteously, and the people who claim to be religious but are not living righteously. Okay. I guess. Yeah, I guess. To follow your religion is to live righteously, right? Yeah. Whether you're a Muslim, Christian, or if you follow your religion, it shouldn't matter what you are, right?
I don't know though, because they got religious wars. Like if somebody don't believe in your religion, now y'all got a whole problem. People get kicked out their family for religion.
We watching religious war right now.
Absolutely.
Been going on for a long time, before Christ.
That's a fact.
BC. Thousands of years ago. Religious wars. That was the main thing, the religious wars.
So we got to just get back to right and wrong. But
I like that, Will.
Yeah.
Right and wrong.
Spiritual.
Right is right, what's wrong is wrong, man.
It's the upper self or the lower self. You want to participate in some wicked shit, then you are of a non-religion. You go to your higher self, you're dealing with higher essence of man, the good in man. You know,
people will manipulate religion, move the goalpost to make it fit whatever narrative. That's what they did with slavery.
Right.
Yeah, so I'll take that back. Yeah, I'm not gonna rely on the religion aspect of it. Yeah, you gotta have a spirit. Your spirit gotta be right.
Exactly.
That's what they did with slavery. They used religion to keep the slaves doing what they was doing to the slaves. Yeah, on both sides. The Arabs did it with Islam, and the Europeans did it with Christianity. Yeah.
Right. Well, the Europeans turned Jesus into somebody who looked like Charleston White, when we know that that's not how he looked.
Yeah.
So, you know, they twist things to fit their narrative.
Yeah. I agree. Religion is the biggest thing that separates our people. Yeah, religion and politics. That's why people be scared to talk about religion and politics. I hear it all the time.
But not us.
Not us.
Unfiltered, unscripted,
Word up.
Straight up.
I hear it all the time. Man, you know, I don't really talk about politics and religion because, man, people get their feelings hurt and all that, man. Whatever.
There's a constitutional law right now in America that's separating of church and state.
It's supposed to, yep.
You know, religion and politics should never go together.
That's what they say. But
Because
I seen all the pastors up in the church this year and last year, sure talking politics when it came
voting time, yeah,
against Trump. They was at that pulpit talking politics.
The reason why I think that is, and you can do the research on it yourself. If anybody know about the Heritage Foundation, that is the organization that ran under the banner of religion, the evangelical Christians, which are the far-right Christians, who, in essence, if you go all the way back to the Heritage Foundation, they are the ones that were the slave masters that wanted to keep black men enslaved. That, according to their Bible and their religion, God placed white men on this earth to be kings or have servants that are black. And look up even evangelical Christians. I promise you'll find it, and it's up under the Heritage Foundation. So that's why a lot of the black pastors are starting to speak out politically, because they're trying to reach their congregation on a moral side of it, or whatever moral side that they come from. So, but that's where you start mixing politics and religion, and it's like a circle. There is no ending to that.
Yeah, I don't agree with that comment right there.
True religion brings people together?
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Why?
No, it don't.
There's too many religions.
Because religion been the cause of wars since religion was created.
She said they're not righteous.
Since religion, okay, then I mean, if religion has never brought, if religion keep causing wars, then okay, when was a society? Give me a righteous society that was righteous over religion then, in the history of humanity.
But I use a perfect example. Malcolm X, before he went to the city of Mecca, he was following religion. He was following the Nation of Islam. When he went to the city of Mecca, he had a change in his spirit. His spirit changed. You know what I'm saying? The whole spirit of the higher self and the lower self. He no longer followed the rhetoric of the religion of the Nation of Islam at that time. And that's why they killed him. Because Malcolm X
he was always Muslim.
Yeah, but he changed the rhetoric that was affiliated with the religion. When he went to the city of Mecca, remember he said, I seen my own brothers, white, black, Chinese, all worshiping up under the same banner. The spirit of righteousness, the spirit of doing the right thing. So he never, when he came back, he never started preaching the hate rhetoric that goes with religion. Religion is man-made. Spirit is God-made. When God creates that spirit in us to do right or wrong.
All right, so give me. I wanted a society that was what I said, Will. That was
together, but based on religion.
Yeah.
Right.
Did we have any in the chat?
No, not yet.
Religion does not bring people together. It separates people.
Yeah. What society? What era, I guess, with the society that brought people together? People was I guess righteous with the religion, and they was brought together, united, no issues.
Oh, you use the word righteous. Now, understand what righteous means. Righteous means right standing with God. That's not religion. That's a whole movement. You have to get right with God. You have to get right with the people. You know, you got to love your brother, man. Even if you don't like what it is he do, you could preach that moral turpitude to him and just not affiliate, not affiliate with what he's doing. Like the statement, would I do business with somebody that cheat on his wife? His righteousness, his mentality is untrustworthy. So why would I continue to do business with him without being suspicious? I might do business with him because it makes money. But if it's the wrong business, I'll cut him off.
What you out here
moved to a black neighborhood in South Georgia from Miami. I played guitar for hardcore bands. It never was a problem, though. We played music together. Real recognized real.
So what? That was two different religions? I moved into a black neighborhood in South Georgia from Miami. Played guitar for a hardcore band. Never was a problem. Y'all played music together. Okay. I still need a society that was based off religion that didn't have that brought everyone together.
Like Unc said, they use religion as an excuse to go to war.
I don't know one society that was together, even during Jesus' days. Was it the Jews and the Christians beefing?
The Jews are the ones that killed Jesus.
And he was Jewish. Wasn't he Jewish?
No, he was Hebrew. I think he was a Hebrew.
Religion is man-made. I don't think anything man-made could bring people together.
Exactly.
I just thought about that. That just popped in my head. Nothing man-made could bring a society together.
Only thing is God.
Man made it so man can manipulate it and switch it up and all these, you know what I mean? What was that?
Duke said Jesus.
Oh, Jesus is a Muslim. He was born.
See what I'm saying? Clear cut example right there. The Jews say he was Jewish. The Muslims say he was Muslim. See what I'm saying? I don't know what the Christians say he was. Yeah, I don't know what the Christians say he was.
You gotta look at the geographic area. He was born in Bethlehem. He was from Judea or something. Christianity did not exist until hundreds of years after Jesus was dead. They didn't have Christianity in Jesus' days. Christianity, which means Christ, which means Jesus Christ, did not form until centuries after Christ was gone. AD, hundreds of years after he was gone. And they were saying this is what Jesus taught. So that was their religion, that they changed the narrative. Jesus spoke Arabic.
I just Googled it. Jesus of Nazareth, a Jewish man who lived in the 1st century CE. It began as a movement with Judaism, with Jesus' disciples, spreading his message after his death.
That's their narrative.
Jesus was a Jewish preacher and teacher who lived in Galilee and Judea during the 1st century.
Remember, his mother didn't have to leave that land. He was born there, but that wasn't his nationality. He spoke Hebrew. He spoke Greek. He wasn't Jewish.
See, that's where the division comes in at.
That's where the division came in, because when you start saying that Christ was a Christian, Jesus Christ was a Christian, when it wasn't even created until after he was gone.
No, forget the Christian part. Jewish and Muslim.
So he couldn't be teaching Christianity. You know, Jews are setting up under the banner of the Christian idea or the religion. But that's not who Jesus was. They also said Jesus was a white man that looked like Charleston Heston somewhere, and they put him up on the cross.
I guess it's all on what you want to believe, man.
It's the narrative of the religion as opposed to the narrative of the spirit.
You got some people that say Jesus wasn't even never existed.
And there's some people that just say he was simply a prophet, a man, just
they
like
say,
any other.
They say Moses and all of them existed, but they say Jesus is the only one that don't have a tomb and a body and none of that.
So do you think that he is the only person on this earth, all of a sudden, miraculously, a miracle popped up with semen in her and she got pregnant?
No, I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that story at all.
Well, I mean, that's the narrative, that the Virgin Mary had a child.
Yeah.
Immaculate conception. I mean, it just, a baby just all of a sudden and popped in her belly. Ain't nobody bust that thing open. Stop it.
Yeah.
All right, that's what I said. OKC champion. See, a lot of people read and they take things literal. And a Christian pastor told me this. He said that remember that in the scriptures he says that God came to Joseph and said, she will be with child. In other words, what it was really saying, the metaphor to that whole story is that God put the desire in Joseph to go up in there. You're going to get some virgin crucifixion, and from your seed will come the Messiah.
Hey, that's funny, L. He said,
joke.
How was copper wire invented? 2 Jews tugging on a penny. That's funny.
Oh, man.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's some Jew hate. They're going to say you anti-Semitic for that.
He put the disclaimer out first.
Oh, they gonna say you anti-Semitic for that one. Jesus spoke Aramaic.
On it,
Jesus spoke Aramaic. Yeah, but they could just easily say he spoke Aramaic because that was the region he was in.
Okay.
If I go and I was raised in Iran, I'm gonna speak what they speak also. Or Russia, I'm gonna speak Russian.
Well, we were moved here, or a lot of us
We spoke one language where we was from, came to America,
and we are American.
We don't even know what language we used to speak.
But that's not who we are, simply because of what we are. So who was Jesus? What did he teach? Christianity wasn't being taught back in them days. And Judaism was not either.
Hey, L, we not scared to speak on religion and politics over here. This is what we do. You ain't got to worry about lightening up the mood. This is what we do.
That's a fact.
Yeah, this is what we do.
Oh, listen to this. The Jews
we appreciate you for viewing and staying with us and participating in the comments.
For sure. We appreciate the jokes, though.
Listen,
I'm always joking.
Who killed Jesus? Who supposedly hung him on the cross if it wasn't the Jews that hated him?
The Romans ain't want nothing to do with it, right?
Huh?
The Romans didn't want anything to do with it, right? They let him go.
And they said let King Herod or whoever it was do what they're gonna do, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do to him. They didn't. Jesus, they said.
Hey, so L, even back then the Jews was out of pocket. The Jews was evil in the Bible in their own book.
Wait,
we want to hear from y'all in the chat too. What topics y'all want us to discuss on our next show?
Yeah.
Comment in this video because I review all comments.
I got a good topic for the next show.
No, you don't qualify. We said the people in the chat.
Well, I should qualify. The next chat should be about why Noah or Nadia showed up. Did y'all kidnap them?
But Nadia doing father time. Got father time, man. Nadia got father time, and Noah's still probably outside. I'm telling you, I was talking to Noah earlier today.
She could have brought OG into the chat room. He might have had some good insight.
She don't want her daddy up here with her.
Right.
Huh?
God in Aramaic is Allah.
Exactly. I'll say it.
That's who Jesus worshiped. Okay.
The Romans did it because Jesus was a co-leader to them because he said he was the king of the Jews. That was his crime.
So the Romans killed Jesus? I thought the Romans let him go. They didn't want nothing to do with it.
Thanks, Moms. We appreciate you.
It was the Jews that killed him.
Yeah, I thought the Romans ain't want nothing to do with it. Hey, L, if you get a chance, man, check that book out. To Behold a Pale White Horse. Good stuff. But they wiped all his stuff off clean, man.
All right, y'all. We about to get out of here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so you'll be notified of when we go on live again.
They wiped all his stuff out.
Appreciate you again, Kurt.
Let Cross take us out.
Yes, sir. Oh, some of y'all haven't heard. Some of y'all joined late and didn't
Kurt.
hear our new song.
Yo.
Oh. Damn, somebody, okay. I got it.
I was a bad son.
Appreciate y'all tapping in, man. Cross gonna go on and take us out. Catch y'all next Friday, man.
When I was a little boy, I put my hood on my back. All eyes on me and nobody cut me no slack. While bowling up and down, that cold money was all I thought. And daddy was selling drugs, so it made me say fuck sports. Him teaching me the game, like he was passing the torch. And from the projects. I jumped off the stoop, not a port. My OGs was my idols. I know me, Rick Ross, and remember to be a boss like was always the goal. I carry Christ on my back, that's why they call me the cross. And whenever shit was rough, I just hustle and stay my course. And every time I pull myself back on my feet, digging my cleats. Every step I take, rip up the streets. A gun in the vest, some money and weed is all I need. When I hit the block, my mama started losing her sleep. To love a nigga like me is really not for the weak. I became a villain after that 100 bullets ate up my Uncle G. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad. I'm hands-on, my kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad. I'm hands-on, my kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad. I'm hands-on, my kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that. All my childhood transgressions, they was teach me lessons. I laid down with beautiful women and they gave me blessings. The love I never gave all these niggas and hoes was for my kids, for them I bleed, little X's and O's. As a man, I gotta be more than just checks and clothes, Pampers and milk. Anytime I leave this house, I could get killed. You could be playing a block or going to work. Charleston and Texas showed us it ain't even safe in church. Every day I look at this world and it keep getting worse. Clips getting longer, switches is clearing them faster. And for some reason they end up in the hands of these little bastards. And go from me, gotta pay their funeral and buy their casket. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad. I'm hands-on, my kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad. I'm hands-on, my kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that. I was a bad son, now I'm a good dad. I'm hands-on, my kids ain't raised by no iPad. I show up every day, if you a man, try that. Can't call yourself a man if you make a challenge, deny that. Good dad, bad son, tune in.
Who wrote that song? You?
Cross.
Okay.
Dr. J. Kelly in the chat.
All right. I like that. I like that. That's hitting.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Hey, it's 231 comments. Is that what that says?
Say it again.
I gotta go to work.
Is that 231 comments? I see 231, 232 down there.
Probably. Yeah, y'all they was live in the chat tonight.
They was Team Kurt tonight, man.
Yeah, the Kurt. You
won them over. Knock on wood.
Facts.
You won them over, Kurt.
If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't. I can't do this without y'all. You gotta perform, put a platform out there. You know, I'm just gonna speak what I think is my truth. You know.
Man, I had so many clips, bro.
Tell yeah.
I couldn't even find them. I'll have them for next time.
All right.
You know,
y'all be safe, man. Be easy. We appreciate y'all. Love y'all. See y'all next time.
Y'all need to send me that track that Dr. J. Kelly made. I like that.
I'm sending it to you now, Kurt.
All right.
All right, do that. I'm gonna rock that in St. Louis.
All right, good night, y'all. We gone.
Peace.